Yeah, no, I get it. I would fuck my phone too if I could. Yeah, you're right. Okay.
I'd fuck my phone
There's
too.
been multiple instances where I'm like, can I put my dick in my phone? Um, let's start the
Okay,
podcast.
that's
Are we
that's actually
recording?
where it
I
goes in.
hope
Okay,
not.
I've been recording this whole fucking time, but
Oh,
maybe I'll use
I'm
some of these
incriminating
clips.
myself. Here we go.
Oh god. All right, what's up and how's it going, guys? I'm your host, Jake Nestor. I came out to the world, but I'm back in the closet to discuss some movies. As always, I'm joined by my constant co-host, Nick Sailing. What's up, buddy?
What's up? It's me, Nick. I'm 21 now, so I can finally say I accidentally took a Bon Hick and I could not clear it while Jacob was finishing that because I was afraid the audio would fuck up. But nice to meet you. It's glad to be back. I got the cam, baby. Let's go. We're
Let's
talking about romantic
go.
movies.
Yeah, dude, camera. I got my camera. Nick's got his camera on this episode. I got a new web camera. Hopefully, I'm looking way cuter today. I shaved this morning. Fuck, my
You
hair
look
is
fucking
looking good.
adorable.
God damn.
You're looking adorable, honey.
No, shout out to this new webcam go. Because little story about this webcam actually, because these past 2 weeks were super uneventful for me and a little bit shitty. I really did not watch too many movies, but what did happen was obviously getting this webcam because for Christmas my dad bought this Logitech webcam for my brother, but then like they like fucked up and said like it wasn't gonna arrive on the time that they said, and so we tried to cancel the order and it like did, I think, but then he like bought another one and then it still sent him both of them even though it refunded one of them, I think. um
Hmm.
Very confusing. I don't really understand. My dad's
Strange.
probably cringing listening to this because I completely mistold the story because I don't remember it that much. But bottom line is that he got two webcams and so he gave me one of them. So thanks, Dad, as a late Christmas present.
It's like having two presents.
Yeah, basically. But anyway, of course, we're here to discuss some movies. So let's fucking get into this. We're discussing our romance movies today, all about romance, top 3 romance movies. Then we're gonna do spoiler review on The Notebook. So stay tuned for all that shit. But we'll start with our notable watches as always. Nick, you want to kick us off with what you've been watching recently?
Yeah. Have you been keeping up with WandaVision at all?
Yes. Okay, so
Okay. I'm actually
I'm
glad
pretty
you
sure.
have.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure on the last episode I said that I was gonna wait until it was done and then binge it.
Yeah.
And then I broke
I'm
that
glad you
rule
did.
immediately midnight when episode 3 dropped. So what can I say? I'm Marvel scum. They have me under their fucking thumb. I can't help it, and I love
I'm
it.
just doing what I learned. I learned my lesson with Mandalorian. Like if I don't keep up, I'm eventually gonna get spoiled.
Yeah,
Like Twitter's
yeah,
ruthless.
exactly.
Reddit's no better. So
Yeah.
I'm just gonna get spoiled. And WandaVision's something like I'm actually really interested into right now. Because um I'm like a little bit past my Marvel fatigue, and I want to get back into like the universe shit again. And I gotta say, like the last few episodes, there's like 2 episodes that dropped, right?
Yeah.
Since we've been
Episode 3 and 4. As of right now,
episode
we're
3 and
recording.
4, which have been probably my favorite so far. 4 is
Yeah, they're
maybe my favorite.
super great. Obviously we won't do
Yeah.
spoilers at all. When the show ends,
Yeah, we definitely shouldn't
will
do that.
talk about it all in full, like we did with
It's a good idea.
like Queen's Gambit and Lovecraft Country when all that shit was
Yeah.
airing.
But
But
I thought it was
yeah,
pretty good so
I
far
loved
though.
it.
I'm glad you liked it too. Then, what do you think of? Well, no, I can't say too much, but
We'll talk about it after.
Yeah.
We'll talk about it a little bit.
yeah, I
during
guess
the
we're gonna have
intermission.
to, man.
Yeah,
There's some
we
really
will.
cool shit in the
There's
in the
there's
fourth
some
episode
cool
that
shit.
I did not expect to be seeing.
Absolutely.
But shout out WandaVision. I would definitely
Absolutely
keep
go.
up with that.
Yeah, check that shit out on Disney
Um,
Plus.
Yeah, definitely.
9
In
episodes.
terms of TV shows, I haven't watched it too much.
Yep.
So I'll get into my movies.
Fuck yeah.
Let's see. I watched a movie called Psycho Gorman this week.
Oh, never heard of that. Tell me
Is
about it.
PG for short. This is a Steven Kostanecki movie who did The Void back in 2016. Did you watch that movie at all?
No, I heard about it though. Got some good buzz.
It was a small little like throwback to the 80s type beat. It had a really cool like cult stuff and some really cool like cult imagery and references. It was a pretty fun movie. Had some really sick fucking practical effects. This is the second movie I've seen from him. Actually, the director also did. Have you ever seen the ABCs of Death, or do you at
No,
least know
you've told
about
me
it?
about this. You've told me about
So the
this a
ABC,
bunch though.
it's essentially like a anthology of like different ways to die. It's a horror like anthology with like comedy elements, and they just essentially just go down the list of letters, and each letter is like N is for like neuter, and like you get to figure out what that means.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, so like you get the vibe with this director. He kind of likes to do gross shit. He likes to do horror. Likes to do comedy, and that's essentially what Psycho Gorman is. It's essentially just like a giant like throwback to like old trauma films and like 80s stuff. And that can get kind of tiring these days with a lot of these fucking like retro shit being thrown at you. But this one does it in a really pretty incredible way. Like these kids in it that play the main characters are incredible in terms of like set design and visuals. It's all practical, but it looks like essentially the thing about practical effects is you can do whatever you want for the most part, and if you use practical effects, it looks really cool.
Mhm.
And even if it's like a cardboard fucking puppet, I gotta give you respect for that. And this movie does almost all practical, but the visuals and the CGI it does use is used in like the best way possible.
Nice. Okay.
This is a movie about intergalactic ancient alien overlord who used to rule the galaxy and was buried by uh, essentially like heaven. These like this group called the Templars, which are they're like angels. And basically he was imprisoned on Earth long time ago, but was recently awakened when two delinquent, immature bastard kids dug them up, and these were the perfect kids to dig up an ancient alien that they can control because they're insane. I'm not gonna say too much about it, but this movie's awesome. Highly recommend it. It is on Amazon Prime for rental right now. I had to get it because I heard so much good shit about it last year, um,
Nice.
and it's
Okay.
finally
That
now
sounds.
available to watch.
I've never even heard of that at all. But I am super intrigued now. That sounds really
It
interesting.
is. I would watch the trailer maybe, but I didn't watch it until afterwards. I just heard of everything about it.
Hmm.
Actually, a podcast I listened to interviewed the director,
Oh,
and with
nice.
that, I was like, I
Shout out the
definitely gotta
podcast.
check it out because yeah, shout out to Nobody Likes Them Cinema Sins podcast. Um, yeah, it, yo,
Nice. Shout out
the
Citizens.
other
I've never
day,
listened to them, but I've seen their YouTube in the past. But
the other day, movie Circle Jerk posted another CinemaSins post, and I was like, I debated like putting in the comments like, I wonder if the sub knew that like all the guys were like prominent, proud leftists. Like, what would they think then? But this the sub still hates them, so whatever. I don't care
yeah,
anymore.
it's okay. It's okay.
Um, no, it's not. But here we go. Uh, it honestly does make me upset every time I see people shit on them, but I
No,
can accept it, I understand.
I see you. I see you.
Um, Next movie I watched was a movie from 2015 called Hell House LLC.
Okay.
Um, this is Hell House was is in the movie a um, like a horror maze, a horror haunted
Okay.
house, I guess. Inside a abandoned hotel called the Abaddon Hotel. This is a found footage movie that was a little bit cultish back when it came out, and it's starting to get some love again. The director just released like a director's cut, and it's getting some love recently, so I had to check it out. This is super low budget. This is probably like a 50 grand movie, I would say, just looking at it. But it's incredible what they were able to do with their money, because this is a really like scary fucking movie, and they didn't
Mhm.
have to do much with it. So essentially, in the movie, there is a group of people that like go around and do haunted houses. You,
Mhm.
I think they based it off of real people that do this.
Hmm.
They like do like, little documentaries on each haunted house they like build across the U.S. And this time they are at a hotel documenting their experiences setting it up for opening night on Halloween. And during the month that they're doing that, some weird shit's going down, and you get some creepy imagery. You get some very spooky uh, costume design. Um, and this is not a spoiler because it happens at the very beginning of the movie, but the whole time you're gonna figure out what hell happened on opening night because apparently no one has any footage, but there were 11 people that died in the basement.
Mm,
Um,
okay.
and the firefighters saying it's a gas leak, but other people were saying that it's something a little bit more sinister.
Hmm.
And honestly, this is a hard recommend for anyone that loves
Okay.
the found footage genre. I know there are people out there. I am
Yeah.
one of them. Um, as much as they disappoint me, I still crave them. And I definitely recommend this for any horror found footage lover out there. This is exactly down your alley. And I had a lot of fun watching it.
Nice.
Um,
That sounds
let's
super
see.
cool. I have like a love hate relationship with found footage, and like when it's bad, it's really bad, but when it's
Oh
good, it's
yeah,
really good. Um,
yeah.
that sounds really interesting though. That sounds really cool.
It's on
I
Amazon
love
Prime
it.
for free right
Yeah,
now.
like I said, I love it when it
It's
hits, so I'll check it out.
definitely check it out. I also saw it on Shutter,
Okay.
but everything horror wise is on Shutter. So
Yeah.
uh, other than that, let's see. Oh, I guess I could mention this. I rewatched all the Blair Witch movies.
Oh, okay.
Um,
I've never
I
seen
just
any of
wanted
them.
like, oh really?
Yeah, yeah. That's which kind of insane that I haven't, but yeah.
Well, I mean, they're like, yeah, I know it's kind of insane. You haven't seen the first one, but
Yeah.
the second and the last one that recently came out. I wouldn't be surprised if not many people have seen it, but Blair Witch classic. It was my second time seeing it. I really fucking dig it, and as a found footage sucker, like it was like the fact that it's found footage and it's like 90s cameras and it still looks like it looks like shit, but like I don't know, like it's
Hmm.
incredible what they were able to do,
I feel you.
and how much effect they were able to do with such a low budget.
Uh-huh.
Um, I did watch the for the first time I watched Season of the Witch, which is Blair Witch 2.
Oh, okay.
And this is like a weird, this is not found footage. This has nothing to do with like any of the original cast, but it's like an MTV slasher style movie. It's very strange.
Hmm.
Um, I kind of dug it, honestly. Like
Okay.
I really like the vibe of the writing, but the movie's garbage for the most part. It's really bad,
Uh-huh.
and I would only recommend it if you like watching bad 2000 horror movies and enjoy that kind of stuff. If you like that MTV like Carson Daly vibe, that you might like it.
Hmm.
Um, the other one was Blair Witch, just Blair Witch.
Hmm.
This is what you call it, Adam Wingard directed this,
Okay.
and this is the sequel to the first one. Um, I won't say too much about it because I feel like it's a spoiler if I do.
Okay. Yeah. Keep it
I
at that.
I actually recommend watching both Blair Witch Project and the Blair Witch because I find the Blair Witch, um, as the years have gone on since I've seen it back in like 2016, the Blair Witch has kind of dwindled on my feelings a little bit, but I still recommend people watching it because it's very
Okay.
interesting and I love the way it relates to the first movie.
Nice.
So if you watch anything, watch Blair Witch Project and Blair Witch out of those.
Right on.
But yeah,
Is that it?
um,
Any else you
I
want to shout
think
out?
that's it. Nothing really else. I watched Freaky again just for the hell of it.
Oh, nice.
I went and watched that with my sister because she wanted to watch it, and
That's it.
I fucking love that movie so much.
Hmm.
Um, I love Jesus, man, that movie is incredible.
Yeah.
Nothing too much to say about it. I already went on about it
Yeah.
last week or
Where
a couple
is that
weeks ago.
available on again? How did you watch it?
I bought it
Oh, okay.
on demand. Yeah.
Nice. I'm gonna
on
have to
Prime.
snag that fucking login then, so I can check it out maybe.
Honestly, if you want, yeah.
Yeah.
Or I was thinking about it next time. The next time we see each other, I figure I could bring that over and
Right
we'll
on.
watch
Yeah,
it because
yeah,
I
I'd
feel
be
like
down.
you would really enjoy that.
Yeah.
Did you see Happy Death Day to You yet?
No, I know.
Ah,
I know.
fuck.
I don't know if we talked
Same
about it on the
director.
podcast, but Nick and I saw the first one in theaters together. I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure
I
we
don't
did.
think we did.
Really?
Don't think that
This
happened.
is cringe that
Yeah,
I'm bringing this up now, but I swear to
unless
God.
you watched it in California with me.
Really? Who the fuck did
Yeah,
we see that
no,
movie with then?
I'm not sure.
Oh, this is so cringy. Do I cut this out?
I remember watching. I remember watching. Unless you were my date that night on Valentine's Day, because I'm pretty sure that's when that movie came out.
Whoa.
I'm pretty sure I watched that movie with a date. I
I don't
think.
fucking remember. I thought I did, but fuck me, I guess. Hey, shout out to Nick's Valentine date on watching Happy Death Day.
That was 4 years ago. I don't talk to that person anymore.
God. Anyway, on that fucking cringy ass note, let's move on.
Those are my notables. So
That's your notable watches. Right on.
yeah.
Check all that shit out, form your own opinions about it, of course. I'll go into my notable watches then. So, like I said, I didn't really watch a whole lot of movies these past 2 weeks, but during the first like week or so of it, I was watching a lot of TV. And so I really caught up on one show, Euphoria. So I watched all of Euphoria, and I watched the two specials that have come out over the past year, the one on Rue and the one on Jules. Have you seen any of Euphoria?
No, not yet.
Yeah. I really loved this show. I was super into it. I just binged the whole thing in like a day or two, and it really emotionally killed me. There's a lot of pretty fucked up stuff that honestly happened with the show. It's really depressing and just deals with some really hard themes and just character beats that are just, it's tough to watch, but it's really, really well written, really well acted, and really well shot. And so it's just a really, cathartic time in a way. And the best part about it is that the final scene of season 1 is like a full-on surreal like dance number, which is pretty fucking awesome. And that's like one of the best parts of the whole season. And then the two specials that focus on Rue and Jules after the events of season 1, they're both basically just therapy sessions, literally, in one of them. And they're the best episodes by far of the whole show, honestly. Especially the one on Rue. I don't know why I said this so weird. Rue, played by Zendaya. She is incredible, and it's a great fucking episode. And it's mainly her talking to one of the other characters in the show, who is played by Coleman Domingo. You'll recognize him from Ma Rainey's Black Bottom. He was the bass player, I believe. And then or I can't remember if he played bass, but he was like the band leader. He was the religious one as well. And then I believe he was also in the Five Bloods as well. But
Pretty sure I know what you're talking about.
Coleman Domingo, incredible actor, and he does a really great job in this episode where it's really just him and Rue talking. And it's just so great. And Sam Levinson, who's the director and creator of the show, he does a lot of really like crazy stuff with the camera all the time, almost like climax-esque with it. And it works sometimes. I definitely do really enjoy that aesthetic and that style that he does throughout season 1, but he is a lot more subdued with that style in the two specials. And I think it works so much better, especially like with what I was saying, my favorite episode of the whole thing, the Rue episode. It's very simple in how he shoots it, but there's lots of just cool ways he plays with the environment that they're in with the camera. That is so interesting and adds just a whole nother layer of emotional depth, and also just makes it way more engaging than some of the crazy shit in season one. And so I really hope season two lives up to season one whenever that comes around. I think sometime this year, and I really hope Sam Levinson calms down with his directing a little bit, because even though it's fun at times and it works at times, I really like when he's a little bit more subdued with it. But highly recommend Euphoria. Really, really big fan of the show. And shout out to the new project that Sam Levinson has coming out this Friday on Netflix, which I'm super excited for, which will be February 5th. It's called Malcolm and Marie, and this is starring Zendaya and John David Washington. Zendaya helped write the script with Sam Levinson. I think she's credited as a co-writer on it, and it's just John David and Zendaya. They're a couple. He's a director, and they've come home after like
wasn't it?
Yeah, it was made during quarantine, and it's like about their night while they're waiting for like some awards show results, I think. And there's been like mixed reviews on it, of like you love it or you hate it.
Yeah, I've seen some very mixed reviews on it.
I'm super excited for it though. I think it looks really interesting. I love Zendaya and I love John David Washington. So I know I'm gonna be watching that right on Friday. And I'm super excited, especially with how much I loved Euphoria.
Oh yeah, that definitely is exciting.
Mm-hmm. It'll be cool. I'm excited. But
I should definitely check out Euphoria.
Yeah. The other show that I caught up on, so both of these shows were 8 episodes, technically 10 with the 2 specials for Euphoria, but this one was 8 episodes, all hour-long episodes, and so that's why it took me a long time to watch both of these as well. But I caught up on Alex Garland's new project, which is a TV show called Devs. Have you had a chance to come around on Devs yet? It's on Hulu.
Yeah, no, you definitely talked about it enough to where I'm super interested in watching it. But Devs just I haven't been able to start it.
Mm-hmm.
Where did you watch it? Was it
Hulu.
an Apple
Hulu.
show? Oh, it's Hulu. I'm totally gonna watch it. Yeah.
Only 8 episodes. Pretty easy watch. Nick Offerman is in it and gives probably my favorite performance I've ever seen from him. He is a really twisted and interesting character. And it's just a great show. It honestly took a little bit for it to pick up for me, at least story-wise. But that was just, by the time episode 3 rolled around, I was completely invested into it. It's just there are some things throughout episode 2 that I wasn't a huge fan of. But the thing that makes it so interesting from the beginning, and that really just makes it an incredible feat, is the world that he builds. Alex Garland is incredible at building worlds that are so deeply rooted in our real life, and how, like, architecturally and just everything visually, how our world kind of is today, while mixing it really subtly but perfectly with different types of sci-fi elements. And he does a really, really great job at this. It is potentially one of my favorite environments. I don't think he'll beat Annihilation, probably, just because that's so out there and interesting. But if we're talking about just when he goes for like a lot more, I'm talking about a lot of this podcast, subdued version, like that he kind of goes with an Ex Machina.
I was gonna say Ex Machina is his most subdued project, probably.
Yeah, and this is levels of that, but it does some really cool shit as well. And the way like he integrates it is just fucking beautiful. It's an incredible show. It explores many themes of grief, death, how you deal with that, what it truly means to live, and the way that he goes about exploring those themes is just wildly entertaining and so thought-provoking. I mean, it's great. I've seen a lot of criticism on the lead performance, and I mean, she's not like the best performance I've ever seen, but she does a really good job in quite a few scenes, and then definitely holds her ground throughout the rest of the series. She's played by, I can't remember her real name, but Kyoko in Ex Machina.
Oh, it's the same actress.
Yeah, same actress who played Kyoko. So
Okay,
and
that's
obviously
cool
it's
that they
a
like working
way
together.
different role. She's playing real human in this. Which debatably she was playing a real human in Ex Machina too, but
Oh, she was
whoa.
essentially
I mean,
fucking
she was.
Oscar Isaac's sex toy.
I
Like
mean,
she
yeah,
was
but
one
she
of
was
them that
sentient
barely
though.
had, but she didn't have like emotions like Alicia Vikander did. Like
That's
she
true.
didn't
That's
really.
true.
She was like one of the failed models.
Hmm. Yeah, she does a
Failed models.
great job in this show though. Um, I recognize the guy who plays her boyfriend throughout part of the show. Even though I haven't seen him in this, I just recognize him from the poster of Love, the Netflix film by Gaspar Noé. Have you ever seen that? I've heard it's basically just like actual porn.
What? No, I
Yeah,
have not.
yeah.
That sounds awesome. Where is it?
It's called Love. It's on Netflix.
Hey, I'll get back to you. I'm gonna watch this movie really quick.
We're gonna pause the podcast. We're gonna go watch Love real quick together. We're gonna watch it over Discord together.
I'll be right over. I'm coming. Oh, Discord. 30-minute drive. I'll be there.
Fire. Okay. No, I haven't seen that. I've heard strange reviews over that movie, obviously, based on the description I've heard of it. But he's also, fucking, what's her name? Zoe Kravitz. He's Zoe Kravitz's ex-husband.
Oh,
They got divorced like in these past like 2 weeks or something like that.
Wait, really?
Like this is like
or
like past like month maybe.
So she was dating something super famous.
Is this Russian guy? I'm pretty sure I guess he plays a Russian guy in this show, so I shouldn't assume that he's actually Russian. But oh god, I gotta look it up now. Hold on, I got it.
No,
I literally got it right here. JK, I don't. I thought I did. Oh god. Carl.
Oh wait, no, never
Glusman.
mind. Oh yeah, I was thinking of someone completely different.
He's in
She was
Nocturnal
with
Animals
somebody
as well.
else. Ah,
I've never
yeah,
seen
he
Nocturnal
was.
Animals. I really need to though.
I
Yeah.
actually,
Small
I
part in
literally
the
have
show.
Nocturnal Animals right here,
Oh,
right next to me right now.
fucking nice. Nice. Shout out. I need to watch that movie. Shout out Amy Adams, who needs her fucking
excellent
Oscar.
movie.
Still
Excellent
doesn't
movie.
have a goddamn Oscar, which is
Yeah, it's insane.
insane.
She should have got it for I don't know.
Should have got it
I was
for
gonna make a
Arrival.
joke. I was gonna make a joke about American Hustle, but
Oh, I don't. No, I don't like that. I don't like that. Oh.
You don't like the movie, or you don't like the joke?
I don't like the joke. I don't like the joke.
Yeah, no,
David O. Russell has a new movie coming out. I'm gonna watch that as many times as I've watched Bohemian Rhapsody by Bryan Singer. Zero, baby.
No, that sounds like a great idea.
Yeah.
That sounds like. Wait, did you not see Bohemian Rhapsody?
No, I never saw it. I didn't care.
Yeah, that wow.
I did.
Yeah, no, you were not.
No desire. I know I'm gonna dislike it. I don't. So why would I watch it?
I hate watched that movie. So like, but I just hate watched it, and it was like not a good experience.
Oh,
I was in a
God.
crowd of people that loved it too, so
That's
that
funny.
was not fun.
Oh fuck. Anyway, we're super off track, but shout out Devs. Check out Devs on Hulu.
Yeah,
Great
fuck yeah.
show. Mwah. Alex Garland, I love you. Continue making shit, please. You're incredible. He's so talented. One of the most exciting writers out there. Absolutely. I wouldn't say he's like one of the best writers out there, but he's fucking coming up there.
In terms of contemporary sci-fi,
absolutely,
he's one of my favorites right now. Like he's incredible.
Yeah, that's undeniable. Absolutely, he's probably the most exciting face in the sci-fi genre, without a doubt.
I need to see what's his face. I want to see Denis Villeneuve again with him.
Oh yeah, dude. We're never gonna get Dune. We're never gonna get it. I'm convinced. I know that HBO Max thing that they announced with that all the like Warner Brother movies are coming to HBO Max this year,
Oh,
including
was it not
Dune.
on there?
No, Dune is on that list, but it's not
Oh,
going to be. There's a big
really?
lawsuit that's in the process right now between some of the other like producing companies who made the movie. Um no way. No way Dune's coming
So
out on HBO
I do
Max.
not blame them. This is a movie that was sold to their investors as the next Star Wars, like literally like the first Dune was
Hmm.
40 fucking years ago. They're doing it again, and now they got a predicament where they're in a fucking pandemic and they don't know whether to release their movie or not
Hmm.
because it's not looking good. I'm sure Denis
Yeah.
Villeneuve is not happy
Yeah,
since his last movie
he
flopped.
alongside
Um,
Christopher Nolan, of course, are
oh
two
yeah,
big advocates against the big HBO Max thing. And I
yeah,
understand it, you
and
know.
everyone else is really happy about it,
Hmm.
including
I'm
myself.
Yeah, I'm
So
obviously a big advocate for just releasing the movies on fucking streaming, but
yeah,
from like the investor side and like the money and like industry side,
no,
I really
no, it
don't
makes
know
sense. It
much
completely
about
makes
that, and
sense.
I understand it. Like the things that I've seen, like it's totally valid reasonings that they have, but
No, it completely makes sense.
yeah.
But it's
But
it's whack. Yeah,
let me watch the fucking movies, please. Like, just don't be a
yeah,
pussy. Just literally re-release it in theaters a few years later, and
yeah. No, seriously,
if
like
there's big fans, they'll go back and see it. Actually,
exactly,
like
exactly.
whatever, whatever though. On to the movies that I watched. I kicked it off with
There we
watching
go.
Minding the Gap. So this is a documentary that's also available on Hulu, made by
I've heard of
Bing
this.
Liu. Yep, Bing Liu. It's his first major project that he did. I think it's 95 minutes. It's a documentary on skateboarding, but it's not. It's way more than that. It's about three people: Bing, Kire, and Zach, and their friendship and how it evolved throughout the years, and specifically their relationship to child abuse and how it
Oh jeez.
affected them in their life and the different ways in which they processed it. And it's fucking hard to watch, man. It's
Mm.
the like I had no idea what I was getting into with this movie. I just knew it was a skateboarding movie. I knew it got nominated for best documentary at the Oscars and whatever year it got released, 2017, 2018, I can't remember.
I think it was 2018. I
Yeah.
remember that.
Um and I love skateboarding. I have a really interesting relationship to skateboarding of like I've skateboarded most of my life and I've always loved it, but I've always been like horrible at it. And I've never
Uh oh.
liked the aspect of skateboarding of falling on my ass and like trying to
Well, I
learn
know it's not
tricks
on
and
my
shit like
end.
that. I just like riding around and I like doing that. But I still do love going to skate parks when I can and such like that. I used to go a lot more, but fuck man, this movie is incredible. It really touched me on just
Hello,
so many
hello,
levels
hello.
and really inspired me. Honestly, Minding the Gap is just a really hard watch, honestly, but it's really inspiring in a lot of ways. Like I said, um, I gotta say, this is something I've been thinking about for really heavily over the past like 3 months or something like that. And over the past like 2 years, as I've really discovered my love of documentaries and just like the versatility of the genre is far beyond anything I had realized beforehand. All of my relationship to documentaries was just like the talking head, really boring documentaries you'd see throughout schooling. And I just always dreaded
Hmm.
documentaries, basically. I started really getting into them in like 2018, I believe it was, when Icarus came out as well. I think it was the same. I think it might have been the same year as Minding the Gap. Icarus, really great documentary on Netflix that I fell in love with. And I watched all of the other documentaries nominated that year. It definitely wasn't the year of Minding the Gap because I watched like every single Oscar nominated movie that year. But regardless, I really fell in love with documentaries. And I've basically come to the conclusion recently that I think I want to become a documentarian. Um, and this movie was kind of that like final push, like you should fucking do this, dude. You should do this shit.
Fuck
Um,
yeah.
and so that's definitely gonna be the way I'm gonna try and like get into the film industry. Like I'll never give up on wanting to pursue making fully fictionalized narrative pieces, you know. But there's a really special spirit to documentaries that I really love. And so I'm working with my parents right now to try and get me an actual proper camera because my camera is not in any way, shape, or form good for that. Um, so I'm gonna be trying to get that soon, and then I'm gonna be starting a a monthly docu series, um, about this house that I live in, all of my roommates, and specifically the three of them that are in Bluephoria, which is a rock band that just got signed to a music label. They announced that on Monday. So I'm gonna be doing a monthly docu series on them. So
That sounds awesome.
thank you Minding the Gap for finally giving me that final kick to actually start creating stuff because I've been really trying to create over these past like 2 years, you know, and find my footing and where I want to kind of go in the film industry. And I think this is something I'm really excited to do, and hopefully it's cool. Hopefully I don't fuck it up. I hope I don't. But yeah, Minding the Gap, the way that it's shot, um in Binglu's story, is really just like I said, inspiring in so many different ways and really beautiful how he crafts this story. I listened to a number of other like podcasts and just interviews of him talking about the process of creating it, and it's really just pretty mind blowing. And some of the footage that he has in it and the way that he incorporates into the story is really unique and really just beautiful. Um,
Hmm.
I'm really excited to see any whatever future documentaries Binglu's God's coming out. I think he said he has something coming out this year, and I really hope that's actually true because massive fan of Minding the Gap. Highly recommend checking this out on Hulu. Uh, just really beautiful movie, and I love watching people skateboard. I just love skateboarding movies. They always hit for me. Um, Minding the Gap's no exception.
Cool.
So please check out that movie. But
Have you
anyway,
have you seen Lords of Dogtown?
no,
That's like a 2005 skateboarding movie that you'll definitely would
okay,
like. I think.
bet I'll check it out. Sounds awesome.
Yeah.
I'm always down for more skateboarding medium, for sure. But moving on to my next movie, I wanted to shout out. Diving down the rabbit hole a little bit further in documentaries, I decided to watch my first Werner Herzog documentary, and so I went
Ooh.
with Grizzly Man. Werner Herzog.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
Have you seen Grizzly
I
Man?
love Grizzly Man.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So, the only other Werner movie I'd seen, was Aguirre: The Wrath of God. I talked about that on our Batman episode, I think, in the what we've been watching section back then. And I fell
I
in
think I
love with
remember that.
it. I really just am. I just really became like hypnotized by his filmmaking and found it so interesting. And really wanted to check out more, but I just haven't been able to work into my schedule. Just haven't. But I finally pulled the trigger and watched this first documentary, which he's also very well known for, Grizzly Man. And holy shit, this movie blew me away. Fucking incredible movie. It's just a really impressive technical feat. The fact that he had over 100+ hours of footage of just random footage that Timothy Treadwell took in the fucking woods, and the way that he
Right, good
sifted
footage
through,
too.
yeah, the way that he sifted through that footage and like crafted a really tight narrative. This movie's fucking like 91 minutes. It is a tight
Mhm.
movie. And it
Yeah.
is concise, and it does not hold back its punches by thoroughly examining not only the person who is Timothy Treadwell, but also why he did what he did, and also all the facets around it of how it really affected bears and then other people, their actual thoughts on what Timothy did. And it's really interesting the way that he balances that. Especially Timothy Treadwell is a very optimistic guy for the most part. He has a very impressive and overall happier outlook on life. Um, Contrasted with Werner Herzog narrative scattered throughout the movie, who has probably like one of the most pessimistic worldviews I've ever heard. Like, I love Werner Herzog, and he's just like the most pessimistic bastard ever, and it's awesome to hear. I love to listen to him talk, and the way that contrasts with Timothy's worldview is really interesting, and it's just such a engaging while also haunting story. This movie just fills you with
It's so
so much
tragic.
dread and sadness, and holy shit, man, it is
Yeah.
it is like borderline a horror movie with some of the shit
No,
that it dives into.
the part where they're describing the audio
Yeah,
was like
yeah,
horror-esque.
yeah. When
It was
you
very disturbing.
yeah, watching Herzog listen to the audio, you don't even need to listen to it. You're just watching him listen to it. Um, yeah, that's one of the most
Yeah.
like gut turning things I've seen in a movie. Period. It's pretty insane how effective this movie is in just so many different facets. You know, I was really just fucking blown away by this movie.
I'm glad you watched this.
Yeah,
This is one
I
of my favorite documentaries of all time.
yeah, it's so great, and I'm so excited to start going down the rabbit hole of really exploring documentaries more and more.
Hell yeah.
And also Werner Herzog filmography, who has such a vast filmography, and he's just incredible and a really interesting artist. And I'm excited to
Um,
check out more of his shit.
if you want to check out good documentaries, the best way, this is what I did. The best way to do it is find out what each documentary, the Documentary Now guys were mocking, and
Oh,
watch that documentary first. Because
okay,
they chose excellent documentaries to
okay,
mock, like some of the best. So I highly recommend doing that.
awesome. Yeah,
Also watch Documentary Now because it's a
yeah.
fucking great show.
I've seen a handful of episodes of documentary now, and I was pretty obsessed with it, but I just didn't continue for no reason at all. But
It's a much
that show's
better
incredible.
experience if you've seen the documentaries that
Oh,
they're
I
mocking.
bet, I think I'm
Yeah.
gonna try and do that first. Yeah, I can. That'll
Oh,
absolutely make it
absolutely, I
better.
would do that.
I can see that.
Yeah.
Right on. That's fucking sick.
Good
But
shit. Good
yeah,
shit.
the rest of the movies I watched this week were not documentaries, but this is a movie that Nick talked about. I think last episode, and I finally
Ooh.
watched it. I watched Fallen Angels by Wong Kar-wai, and baby, I
Yeah.
love this shit. Oh my
Yeah.
god, I love this movie. I'm so
Oh
happy that
yeah.
I loved it as well. I was very scared going into it. Check out our last episode on revenge movies. We have a really good discussion there, and discussion on Man on Fire, and we talk about this kind of like hectic
Mm.
filmmaking and editing style, and the ways in which it kind of does and doesn't work, at least from my viewpoint. And this is 100% a movie where it works 100% of the time. Like,
Yeah.
just insanely well crafted. It's such a fun time, this movie. There's so much great humor. Like, holy shit, is this movie funny. Um, the only
Mm.
other Wong Kar-wai movie I'd seen was In the Mood for Love, which is an incredible movie. And I do like that movie more than this one. But there's a little bit of humor scattered throughout that movie, but really not much. It's pretty much just like a sad love story. But
It's super sad boy, man. All of
yeah,
his
it's
movies are
absolutely
so
yeah.
sad
He,
boy.
he he's
I
he
love
is
it. I
he
love
is
it.
the king. He is a sad boy king, and
Yeah, he is. He
we
really
stand Wong Kar-wai absolutely for representing us.
100%.
And
I'm so glad
holy
you
shit,
enjoyed this, man.
yeah, man. I had a great time with this movie, alongside just completely emotionally destroying me. I can't remember his
Yeah.
name, but the mute guy in the story
Yeah.
um is one of my favorite film characters ever now. Like, he's just such a great character, and every single thing with him, absolute perfection. Just
They start him
so
off as being like kind of suspicious, and then you like immediately fall in love with his
yeah,
character. Like
he is
I love
such
the
a
way they introduce him.
complex and rich character and just so unique as well. And just like who he is and like what he does. And I fell in love with him. Absolutely. Everything about his storyline is perfect. And it felt really meta in a way. And also just like so beautiful. Like, fuck, is this also like Minding the Gap, a really inspiring movie, you know?
Oh my God,
You
S-
know,
uh, s- it is one of the most inspiring movies I've seen in the
yeah,
last few years. Like
100%.
it's impacted me so much that I've rewatched it like a couple times already,
Hmm.
and I love it so much, man. Like
Yeah,
I not it's not just the characters. For me, it's a set. The visuals are
hmm,
incredible,
yeah,
man. Like the way he uses his lighting and the way he uses his color palette is so
absolutely.
inspiring. And the fact that he switches it up for every movie he does, and not just like he doesn't have one mode. Like
Hmm.
'cause he uses the same cinematographer, but he switches up his color palettes in every single movie, and he's so unique in the way he does it. It's
Hmm.
incredible.
And it's all like for a certain purpose, you know? It all feels so intentional. And it is so effective always. His color palette's really the thing that really draws me into his movies, absolutely. I will say, um, during a good portion in the second half or the second act,
Hmm.
I was super uninterested in the plot that wasn't the mute guy. um I got just vastly more uninterested in it, mainly
His story
because I thought,
definitely dominated.
yeah, I thought the
Yeah.
girl was more interesting than the guy in that plot. And so I would have rather focused on her a lot more. But then the scene with her in the end at the diner and the way that ties into the final scene of the movie are so fucking perfect and blew me away on so many levels. It really made me forgive some of those things because it also added a really dark layer underneath the ending, which I thought was incredible. Like, the movie ends where you hear her talking about the warmth that she's feeling, and you feel that warmth with her, and it's
Yeah.
so beautiful. But there's this really haunting layer underneath it that I think is built up through exploring the male storyline, because you see how his lifestyle of crime has affected him and his relationships in the past and in the future. And I felt like the way that it wrapped it up
Yeah.
in the end, even though I was uninterested with him, I realized I needed to see that stuff because it added that layer of complexity to the end where I'm like fearful for her and her future relationships and afraid that she's going to fall down that same path of not ever being able to fully connect with somebody like her past partner had. Um, and that's just like crazy. Like, there's
Yeah.
just so much depth to this movie. Um,
That
it's
character you're
beautiful.
describing, I believe you're describing Blondie, correct?
No, no, no. Um,
Or are you
the
describing
the
Crazy
female
Chick?
who's with, or do they call her Blondie? I don't think so. The um Yeah, because Blondie was the one that the crime guy hooked up with
Yeah, yeah.
after. I'm not talking about her.
Yeah, you're talking about his other love interest
Yeah,
though.
yeah, I'm talking about the
Yeah,
initial
okay.
love who
Okay.
loved him, but he didn't love her back. And
It's so sad.
yeah. Um,
Um
so yeah, I wanted to
she
focus
also
more
gets
on her.
really weird with it too, but
Yeah, I
yeah.
wanted to focus more on her because I thought she was more interesting. But then the way
I
his
agree.
storyline tied into the ending and added another layer of complexity to the movie, it really brought it up another level for me
Hmm.
and just kind of blew me away. I
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
Wong
I'm
Kar Wai
I'm
does
glad
it
you
again.
mentioned this during this episode because with a lot of Wong Tai movies, this is a essentially a love story at the end
Absolutely.
of it.
At 100, I would
Like
consider this
you
a
literally
romance movie.
realize
Yeah.
at the very end of it, like, oh, this was a love story the whole
Hmm.
time.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
Hmm. Yeah.
There's
Uh.
also a sequel to
Mhm.
the Chungking Express, which I think is the second movie.
Chungking Express
Um,
actually came out first. I'm pretty sure.
yeah, this is the sequel to
Okay,
Falling.
I thought you said
This is the
Chungking
sequel.
was the sequel. Never mind. Go on though.
Oh no, and Blondie is, I believe, in Chungking Express.
Yeah,
Actually, I
yeah,
think
I've
a
heard that.
few of the characters, but
Hmm.
I haven't seen that, and that's one I need to
We
see.
should watch that together. We should watch that together next time we hang out.
I would love
Um,
to. Yeah,
yeah.
I just want to get into his discography and finish it
Hmm.
because
Absolutely.
he doesn't have that many movies. He really doesn't.
Yeah, yeah. I need to check out more of his shit. Absolutely. We
Yeah.
watched In the Mood for Love together. That is one
Yes.
I got correct. Even though I fucked up earlier, I got this correct. We did watch that together. And that's a great
Yeah,
time because I love that movie.
it was dope. We watched that with Drew. I wonder
Yep.
how you felt about that.
Yeah, I had this sense that
He actually
Drew.
really enjoyed it. He was
Yeah,
telling me about that. He
yeah.
was like, "Damn, like
I
didn't
hope
think
he
I would
did.
like that."
Yeah, I wasn't sure how he would feel about it when it was over, but I'm glad he did.
It's a pretty tight movie. Like it's not much to like think
Hmm.
about. So I wouldn't
It's a
know
straightforward
why he wouldn't
movie,
like
you
it.
know.
Yeah, it
That's
really
what I
is.
think makes it the editing and direction style in it a lot more interesting is the way, like, even though I was saying I think the complexity in this story in Fallen Angels really works, I think the
Hmm.
non-complexity and the actual story in the Mood for Love works even better because of the way it works with the very complicated love and relationship that's going on.
I could see that.
So
Yeah,
that's
definitely.
where the complexity more draws from, and I find that a lot more
Hmm.
interesting in that movie.
Definitely. Yeah, I could see that. Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah. Shout out
Which
Wonka Y. Check out his fucking movies. Wow. Watch his filmography along with Nick and I. We're gonna be trying to
yeah.
get through that. Join us. Anyway. Few. One more thing I really wanted to talk about. Obviously, I wanted to watch more movies this past week. I didn't watch a whole lot, but one of the other main romance movies I did get to watch this past week when I was trying to get ready building my list was 10 Things I Hate About You. This is the movie with Heath Ledger, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, and that's all the only actors I remember from that movie, but they're the two leads, and I love this movie. You know, it's not perfect. I think it's a super by the books, really easy story that just super easy story. But the
Sure.
reason this movie really worked for me is mainly those two characters that they play, Heath Ledger and Joseph Gordon-Levitt, and their characters and how they perform them, and also the relationships that they end up building with the two girls in the story. Um, I think is really real and really beautiful in the way they go about it. And most of the movie is just watching their chemistry with each other and then other people in the story as friends and just watching them interact, and it's just a really really beautiful fun watch that I had a lot of laughs during, and I definitely started to cry a little bit during the 10 Things I Hate About You kind of title speech, even though it was so dumb. I couldn't help it. I thought it was so dumb, but I could not help but tear up a little bit because like I said, the performances are just really good in this movie, and that's where that character's performance starts to really shine is during that scene. And I think it's just like a really beautiful way to end the movie. I think it's just a good watch.
I haven't
You've
seen
seen
this
this?
yet.
You haven't?
I'm not.
Okay.
No.
It's a fun movie.
No.
It's
This is
I
not something I would usually see, but
mhm,
it's like one of those movies where I'm like drunk at 2 a.m. and I would like totally watch.
mhm,
You know,
for
it's one
sure.
of it's one of those.
I
But
love rom-coms. Romantic movies are just some of my favorites in general. Um, but I love rom-coms, always have, and it just took me too long to come around to this movie, and it's definitely a really enjoyable watch, especially if you like rom-coms. So definitely give this movie a check out. And then,
I realized. Oh, sorry,
no, no, you're
just
good.
super
You're good.
tangent. But I was gonna say I realized my favorite rom coms, like I had to put like rom-coms that weren't musicals, but musicals might be my favorite.
Okay.
Like I went through
Interesting.
like what I like, and most of them are musicals. Because
Interesting.
like rom-coms are, I don't need to get like too much into this, but a lot of them are super like insane. So like if
Yeah.
you add like a musical
Oh, for
element to
sure.
it, I can start believing a little bit more.
Yeah.
And I think that's why I have a lot more fun with like
Hmm.
stuff like La La Land and shit.
I
So
feel that. That's a perfect kind of little segue to start talking about the topic of the week, which is we're going to be talking about our top three romance movies.
hell
So
yeah,
yeah, when I was
I'm
thinking about
excited
it
for
as
this.
well, I super am. This list was really fucking hard for me to make. So I was really thinking about it, and so I have the intro episode of this podcast where I talked about 10 really personal movies to me. Um, and those are also basically my top 10 movies, and 4 out of the 10 are romance movies. And then I was just thinking more and more about my favorite movies of the past 10 years, and they're like all romance movies. I am just a
Yeah.
huge sucker for movies that deal with love in any sort of way. I love love, and I love experiencing it through a movie. Uh, and it's just something,
People, please
you know,
hit up my friend Jacob.
I'm fucking
On God, we're gonna get him
lonely.
laid. Okay, on fucking God.
Oh god, I'm so
I
lonely,
love you,
homie.
bro. I love
No,
you.
I love you too. No, I just always have been a huge fan of love stories ever since I was young, and so this list was really fucking hard for me to make. What's your kind of? I know you were just talking about it a little bit, but your
Yeah.
relationship to love to this genre, I guess.
I find romantic comedies to
Mhm.
be super samey,
Mhm.
um, but always enjoyable, and always great to laugh at. But it's nothing that I would like put on just to watch. You know what I'm talking
Mhm.
about? Like, um, there's only a few, and the few I put on my list,
Mhm.
because there's not that many that I've really enjoyed, including um, like old like classics like Gone with the Wind. I find incredibly boring.
Mhm.
Um, but like I don't know, I just have a love hate relationship with a lot of movies,
That
and
that's
romantic
that's
comedies
fair.
is probably what I prefer mostly.
Mhm. Yeah,
Yeah,
I get that for sure. I'm excited
romantic
to
comedies and musicals.
yeah,
Yeah,
I'm excited to get into this list though. You want to kick us off with any
I could do that.
criteria that you had or whatever, and then whatever your list
I,
is.
I so I kind of started with something, but I realized like they're unique enough that I can't really put them in like any bubble.
Yeah, yeah.
But I did have one that I really love. The other two, I can put them, I don't know, simultaneous together. So I'm gonna mention those two really quick. Actually, I'll just mention one of them.
Yeah, yeah.
So the first one I put is a 2009 movie, Jason Reitman, Up in the Air. Have you seen this?
Oh no, I haven't.
So
Okay.
this is Vera Farmiga, George Clooney, Anna Kendrick. Um, I'm surprised you haven't seen this actually. Um,
I'm gonna. I
this
don't
is
think I've
like
even heard of it.
have you seen Tully and like Juno?
I've seen Juno. I love Juno. Love Juno.
Oh, I think Jason Reitman is like a director that's totally up your alley, Jacob.
Mhm.
He
Yeah.
hasn't done much, but like he's totally up your alley.
Yeah. I'm a
Up in
big
the
fan.
air. I would recommend this movie to you. It's on HBO Max. I know you
Mhm.
got that.
Okay. Okay.
This is with Vera Farmiga. It's George Clooney's the main character, but Vera Farmiga is the love interest. Um, and Anna Kendrick's kind of a side character, not a love interest, but essentially she is traveling with George Clooney because she is trying to check out what George Clooney's job is and trying to advise how to economically save some money by doing it. And what George Clooney's job is traveling all across America to fire people. This is taking, yeah, it's a pretty doomer movie for the most
Yeah.
part because there's so many scenes where you're just seeing people in their worst moments, and this also takes place during the 2008 uh, economic crisis that we were going through, and a lot of people were being laid off. So this
Okay.
was
Yeah,
very
that's
relevant for
kind
the
of
time.
fucked up.
In fact, I would say it's pretty fucking relevant to like 2020.
Yeah.
But this movie, he goes around. These companies hire him to fire their employees because they're pussies and they
Mhm.
can't do it themselves. So they have a stranger do it, and basically, Anna Kendrick is trying to cut that cost down and have George Clooney, instead of traveling everywhere, basically do like a video conference with them. Imagine getting video conference uh, to get
Fuck.
fired. I've actually had worse, but that's what is going on. That's literally what
Yeah.
happens these days. Is like people will video conference you because employers are such pussies. They can't even fire their own employees.
Mhm.
But basically, that's what the movie goes around. During that, George Clooney finds a little bit of a love interest with a similar type traveler, Vera Farmiga. She travels a lot for work, so they meet each other at various like cities where they're doing business, and they're hooking up, and they're falling in love a little bit. Vera Farmiga goes to a wedding, and it's a really sweet like I don't know, like friends with benefits, I guess, type movie. But it gets to the point where, maybe they want to take it further.
Yeah.
And then I would say the last hour, maybe 40 minutes of this movie is some of the best writing, some of the best characters, some of the best acting I've seen from these um, actors um, ever.
Mhm.
And Jason Reitman really brings out realistic emotion. Danny McBride's in this. Jason Bateman is in this. Fucking J.K. Simmons has an amazing scene in this. This is
Nice. A great cast.
much more than a romantic comedy. This is elevated romantic comedy, if you will.
Nice. Nice.
um, Figuratively and metaphorically.
Mhm.
Uh, it's a great movie, and this one of my favorite parts of this is the relationship between Clooney and Farmiga because it really feels genuine, and they're both sexy, and
Mhm.
it's amazing. Secondly, if you love traveling as much as most people do, this is like traveling porn throughout most of the movie, and it's
Nice.
awesome. So,
That sounds awesome.
also this movie, I'm talking too much about this movie, but it does
It's
my
okay.
favorite thing where I hate when like movies show like the Eiffel Tower and they're like France, like we didn't know already, like we were in France.
Yeah. Yeah.
This movie just like shows a windy airport and puts like Detroit, and like I love that shit. It's much better. It's super subtle. Like it's just I don't know. It's just those little things that
Mhm.
in this movie I love. And highly recommend this. Up in the Air. This came out 2009. It was nominated for Best Picture. I'm pretty sure.
Really?
I'm
Wow.
pretty sure. I'm pretty
Yeah,
sure.
I got it pulled up right
Um,
here. Let me fucking check.
it's
It got nominated for 6
highly.
Oscars. Yeah, including
Yeah,
Best
no, not
Picture.
surprising.
Wow.
It's an incredible. I wouldn't even say it's like underrated, but I feel like not many people know about this movie.
Yeah, like I said, I'd never
Um,
heard of it, but I'm incredibly interested.
if you would love, I think you would like
I
this a lot.
absolutely
Anna
would.
Kendrick's adorable in this.
Hmm.
Yeah, highly recommend.
Fucking
Up in the Air.
nice.
That's I guess my number three.
Right on.
Yeah.
Right on. As always, we've done these top 3 lists before. Top 3 revenge movies. Top 3 Christmas movies. Fucking what was the other one? Top 3 war movies.
Yep.
As always with them, I always like to split it up into 3 kind of categories. And so for the third category for this one, I went with the fairy tale type love story.
Hmm.
This is really I was having a little bit harder time finding ones in this genre, honestly. Mainly just ones that I really love, particularly. Um, Namely, also, I forgot to say this, but for this list of top 3 romance movies, I didn't want to include any movies that I've talked about on the podcast before, so you'll see them kind of in some honorable mentions. But if they've come up on any other list during the discussion part of one of our podcasts, I didn't include into this top 3 just because I wanted to talk about more movies that I haven't talked about before. So you can go check out those movies and what I had to say about them in those episodes. But, you know, obviously in fairy tale type love stories, Moonrise Kingdom falls under that category. Absolutely. That's definitely probably my favorite movie of all time. The Shape of Water is another one that I really wanted to pick. I absolutely love Guillermo del Toro, and The Shape of Water is easily his best or second best. I think it's tied with Pan's Labyrinth for me, which I know is kind of a hot take for some people, but I love it that much. But for this one, I had to go with Umbrellas of Cherbourg. This is a movie by Jacques Demy. This is a movie that I heard about from Damien Chazelle, the creator of La La Land. He was heavily influenced by this movie while making La La Land, and you can see it in every single frame, basically. This movie was made in 1964, and it is one of the most unique and beautiful movies I've ever seen. It is at a tight 91 minutes. We talk about that a lot on this podcast. Movies that can have such richness and its story and themes and just the complexity that it has to everything a part of it while being such a tight runtime is incredible. And this movie is absolutely no exception. It's so unique and beautiful. Something that's mainly what's talked about during for like the discussion of this movie is the way that the dialogue is written and delivered. It is all sung. Every single line of dialogue in this movie is sung by the characters. And it's really interesting because it's really like well written, witty dialogue that's like normal dialect, you know? And they feel like they're talking normally, but they're singing every single word. And the way that they do it and the way it incorporates into the score of the movie is absolutely unlike anything I've ever heard. I've never
is it dubbed
heard
or is it
like
like
I honestly
Les
don't know.
Miserables?
I think it's dubbed, but
Okay, cool.
I don't know. So they do a great job at dubbing it if they did dub it, because it feels
Yeah,
so
that's not
natural.
when it's sing dialogue. Um, it's not easy, and you can see like in Les Miserables where they had a difficult time deciding whether to dub it or not, and
Hmm.
they ultimately chose not to. So that's impressive already as it
Yeah,
is because
it's
that kind of dialogue is hard to do.
it's a technical just masterclass. This movie is. The colors are some of the most striking colors I've ever seen, and it is a deeply sad and depressing movie. This is not a happy fairy tale love story and has probably one of the bleakest and just like sad endings I've seen, while also having hope
I
and
love that.
love kind of winning in a way. Um, it is a fucked up little story that
Mhm.
is so beautifully crafted around every single corner.
I'm
And
sold.
dude, you need to watch Umbrellas of Cherbourg.
Um,
it is came out in 1964. It's one of those early French New Wave movies that honestly doesn't get talked about enough in its influence and place in the French New Wave, because it's up there with the 400 Blows for me. I think this movie is absolutely perfect. It's incredible.
you sold me on fucked up love story
Yeah,
because that's essentially what my picks are fucked
yeah.
up love
I
stories,
I love.
including Up in the Air.
Yeah, I agree that that is how I
I
love my
love
love
that.
stories as well. And Umbrellas of Cherbourg is a holistically unique and beautifully tragic movie, and I highly recommend it. Definitely check out Umbrellas of
Excellent.
Cherbourg. That's my number 3 pick for fairy tale love. Move on. So, what's your number 2 pick, Nick?
I'm glad you did the fairy tale again.
Hmm.
Um, I love hearing like unique versions of a romantic type movie.
For sure,
So
for sure.
yeah, because I that was one thing I found was hard to find during all this.
Hmm.
Um, so my next one, let's see, what should I do? These are both super equal to me. I think I'm gonna go with Phantom Thread. Um,
Okay,
and I'll
nice.
mention my favorite one afterwards. Phantom Thread was probably my favorite movie of 2017. Maybe not. No, that's not true. Speaking of love story, my another was another one I loved, called The Big Sick. It was
Yeah,
a
man.
Camille Nagiabi movie.
Yeah,
That was
man.
probably my favorite movie of 2017. But Phantom Thread is like fucked up in all the right ways.
Yeah.
It's also like I love PTA so much, and
I
this is
love
probably
PTA.
one of my favorite movies that he's done so far. In terms of stylistic choices, and in terms of how toned down the characters are in this movie. As eccentric as they are, they're super toned down,
Hmm.
and I love it. I
Yeah.
love it so much. Daniel Day Lewis's final performance.
Yeah. Final.
I think that's the
I.
fourth. I think that's the fourth time he said that now.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, in the last
I
20
believe
years.
it.
Uh, Same with Vicky Krieps, who I've barely seen in anything else.
Hmm.
She
It
plays
probably is
Alma.
her final performance, realistically, but we know Daniel's
Do you
lying.
think it is? Do you think
I
it
don't know.
is?
I feel like
I don't think
she
it
doesn't
is.
act too much. She doesn't like.
I doubt it. If he does, this is a great way to
Hmm.
end his career, in my
I
opinion.
no, I don't think Daniel. I don't think this is gonna be Daniel's final performance. I was saying it could be her last performance.
Why is that?
Just because I don't see her in that often. Like I feel like she just
Oh, like her
doesn't
last
make movies
performance
that often.
ever.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Like okay, yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah. It
yeah.
might be because I don't see her in anything.
Hmm.
And um, she's incredible in this movie. I think she's a foreign actor, as
Hmm.
well. Also Leslie Manville, who plays his sister, is one of my favorite parts in this movie.
Hmm.
Um, Phantom Thread is just, I already said, fucked up in all the right ways.
Absolutely.
Um, and it's like it gets like to a horror esque, and I love it.
Hmm.
Like the relationship gets really fucking twisted, and I cannot say much about the end of this
Yeah.
movie, but I will say the beginning of them, even when Daniel Day Lewis is like a total asshole at points, their love is super sweet and
Yeah.
um,
That's.
super unique,
Hmm.
and when it gets to the point at the end, you understand why it got to that point, and it's like even more sweet, even though it's fucked up. I
Yeah.
love it so much.
It's a
This is
crazy
one of
movie.
my favorite Paul Thomas Anderson movies, and it's incredible. I love it.
Hmm.
It's so
Yeah.
beautiful too, and the fucking soundtrack, the score in general is so underrated in my
Johnny
opinion. Oh my god.
Greengrass, that's who did the
Yes.
score, right? Yeah, I'm pretty sure he
Yes.
did There Will Be Blood as well, and I think he's done a few other Paul
Mm-hmm.
Thomas Anderson movies. Uh, Holy shit, he's incredible! Such an incredible composer who
It's gorgeous, man.
does not have a big enough filmography. Please, Johnny Greengrass, do more film composing. We need you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pull a Carpenter and direct a movie if you want.
Yeah, yeah. I'll hit him up. I'll hit him up. He can
Yeah, hit him
score
up.
one of my movies.
Get him on the line.
I'm sure I could afford
Front
it.
of the show.
Yeah.
Front of the show. Yeah.
No, Phantom Thread's great. That's definitely like probably a top 4 PTA for me.
Yeah.
I really
That
love
wasn't
Phantom
on my
Thread.
list. I had something else on my list for a little bit,
Hmm.
and I'll mention it. But
Of course,
watched that again recently, and I was like, I had to put it on.
for sure.
I'm
Me
so in
too.
love with that movie.
Yeah.
But I replaced it with Baz Luhrmann's Romeo plus Juliet, because I love that movie so much.
Yeah. Nice. Nice.
So
All right. Moving
yeah,
on
yeah.
to what my number 2 is. I for this category, I had to go with rom coms. Obviously, I'm a huge proponent for rom coms. They're just so great. I love
That's it.
laughing and I love feeling love. Some of the shout outs that were really close to making this when Harry Met Sally, the movie that really defined what the modern rom com kind of formula is. Really incredible. Smiles of a Summer Night, an early Ingmar Bergman movie that I talked about a few weeks ago that blew me away and has really stuck with me. And it's just so incredible. And then Punch Drunk Love, which is probably my number 1 PTA movie, I gotta say. I'm a
Fair.
massive Punch Drunk Love fan, but I was scrolling through my letterbox and I came across a movie and all I logged in it was, do I rate too many movies 5 stars? No, fuck you, best rom-com of all time. And so I had to go with Harold and Maude. I love Harold and Maude. Oh my god. This movie is so fucking crazy and so just perfect. I mean, the love that is conveyed through Harold and Maude and their relationship and each of their characters is unlike anything I've ever seen. And specifically the character of Harold. And this kind of reminds me a little bit earlier when I was talking about Grizzly Man, seeing that dichotomy of the really pessimistic and the really optimistic worldview, seeing that through Harold and Maude's characters, Harold being the young 20-year-old who has a really pessimistic worldview, who is very suicidal and like is just completely unloved in his life and has no love for himself or anybody around him and just life in general. And then he meets the, I think, 79-year-old Maud, who is on the last legs of her life and who is filled with life and love and joy and spreads that to anyone in any scenario she's ever in. And watching those two come together and how they come together and the way that they affect each other in so many different ways is so fucking beautiful and so goddamn sad. If you remember, I talked about I'm thinking of ending things quite a bit throughout this past year on a number of different episodes and my relationship to suicide in my life. And so it's obviously a really hard topic for me to watch in movies, but when I see it portrayed with such delicacy and beauty and honesty, it's really a transcendent experience, I think. And the way that this movie, I watched this in a really fucking hard time in 2020. I believe I watched this in like April when I was in one of like just the worst feelings of my life, and watching this movie and giving me a new reason to love life and to love my relationships around me and how to truly get everything out of every experience I have. Fuck, man. How can I not put this movie at this spot? I mean, Harold and Maude is really just a special movie to me, and it's so beautifully crafted. Highly recommend Harold and Maude. Just an incredible movie.
Oh yeah.
Have you heard of it or seen it?
I've definitely heard of it. I haven't seen it yet. I know it's like 1971. I remember
Yeah.
I listened to a podcast and I remember them praising it that year for being one of the best movies of that year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a strange movie. It's a lightning in a bottle type movie. The guy who wrote the screenplay, it was his first screenplay he ever wrote, and it's perfect. And I hate saying that because it pisses me off seeing someone write such a perfect screenplay as their first one. But he really struck gold with it and knew the right people at the right time and crafted such a perfect and just incredible movie that will mean so much for me forever. So huge shout outs to Harold and
Good
Maude.
shit.
And that's my number 2 pick for my favorite rom com of all time.
Good pick.
Yeah,
Good
yeah.
shit. Number 2. I guess I'll move on to my number 1 then.
Yes, of course. Let's hear it.
Alrighty. So my number 1, I had to do this because my favorite genre has to be included somehow, and I made sure to force it in here.
Okay.
So I put this is a horror romantic movie, and it's called Spring.
Spring?
No, I want to. It's called Spring. Spring. Like
Okay,
the season.
okay.
This came out 2014. This is an Aaron Moorhead and Justin Benson movie. You've heard of you? I know you've
Nope.
heard of these directors, right?
Nope. None
They
of
did.
it.
They did. Oh, really? They did my one of my favorite movies, The Endless.
Never heard of that.
I know I've
All a
mentioned that to
complete
you.
blank
I've
here.
definitely mentioned that to you. They also did Resolution. They also did uh, one of the shorts on the third VHS movie, I think.
Nice.
Um, these guys are incredible, like uh, directors, and not only do they direct their own movies, but they edit, write, and they fund them.
Nice.
They did a movie recently with Anthony Mackie in it called Synchronic. Do you remember this when this came
Mm-mm.
out?
No.
I haven't seen this, and I just found about this recently. This came out
Uh-huh.
in like 2020, and I need to see it because I love these guys, but
Yeah.
I didn't even know this came out. But
Nice.
this was their second movie, I believe. And I wanted to clarify this is a romantic movie first and foremost, with horror elements to
Okay.
it. Um, Essentially, this guy is down on his fucking luck. He had to drop out of Berkeley to take care of his dying mother, who eventually passes away, and he's working at the bar that he always grew up saying that he never would. And he's got a good friend, but the only thing they do together is get drunk and get in fights, and he has really nothing else to live for. It feels like. So he says, "Fuck it, I'm going to Italy because I always wanted to go to Italy, and that's where white people go. So I'm going." And there immediately he meets a couple guys. I want to say one is from like all from Europe, but I think one's like Scottish. The other is like from Amsterdam or something. But
Mm-hmm.
uh, basically, he befriends them, gets belligerently drunk, and smokes a ton of weed and parties um, for a couple of days with them. In the meantime, there was a moment of occurrence where he locks eyes with a beautiful woman who is played by Nadia Eichler, who has been in the Allegiant movies, like the
Oh, okay.
Divergent movies, if I remember. But she's excellent in these in Spring. Um, they like lock eyes with each other, and eventually, when they see each other again at the bar, he tries to make a move, and she's a little bit more aggressive than he expected, and he kind of fails. But they eventually get back together, and he kind of gets a second chance, and they have like a typical like romantic like honeymoon phase type relationship. But the thing is, she's got a little bit of a secret where she basically turns into a monster almost daily, like a horrifying Lovecraftian looking monster
Huh.
that changes every time she transforms. Um, it's very interesting the way it's implemented into this movie. And I'm not going to spoil it too much. I kind of spoiled like that big part, but I feel like
Yeah,
that's
it's a
something
little
that people need to like get
okay.
intrigued with this movie because you wouldn't have anyways.
Mm-hmm.
It's like your typical like romantic like love story.
Should
But
I
it
add a
has an
spoiler
element
warning
of
right before that? Should I or not?
I wouldn't. I'm gonna
Okay.
say
Okay.
I
Okay.
wouldn't because I feel like you're gonna go in knowing that she's like kind of weird already.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not really a
I'm
big
super
reveal
fucking
when it
interested.
happens.
This sounds crazy
It's not.
cool. But yeah.
It's really fun. It's heartbreaking. It's a real fucking good love story. And it takes place in Italy. These guys, they fund their own movie. They fucking went to Italy, and they did an excellent job. I thought.
Nice.
It's I don't know. It's very unique in the way that it could be called a horror romance movie.
Nice.
Those are few and far between, and it's the ones that are available are can be kind of shitty. So
Mm-hmm.
um, if you've never seen Warm Bodies, That is exactly what I am
Hey,
referencing.
whoa, whoa.
Um, yeah.
Warm body
So
slander. Come on.
yeah.
Come
Okay.
on.
Well.
Warm
So
bodies
I
is
definitely check
fun.
out Spring. Moorhead and Benson, they're the directors. I definitely recommend checking out their
Mm.
catalog. I'm pretty sure it's all on streaming because I don't think they ever had a theatrical release. And also, you're going to be hearing about these guys because they just got hired to do the Moon Knight series on Disney Plus.
The Moon Knight
So
series? Are you serious?
yes,
Fuck.
I'm not
Oh,
even kidding. I just found out about this
awesome.
recently.
That's
I'm
crazy.
so proud of these guys. I'm so happy for them because they're gonna go huge now, and
That's
they're gonna like
awesome.
these guys have a crazy imagination. You're gonna I'm
Moon
telling you
Knight.
right now, if you've never heard of these guys, watch out. They're gonna be taking over Hollywood. I guarantee
Yeah.
fucking to you.
It,
These guys are gonna be like these guys are gonna be like your Duffer Brothers, but better. I promise
nice.
you.
Okay. Okay. That's big. That's big. I'm excited. Moon Knight is one of the coolest fucking Marvel characters out there.
Yeah,
He is such a
yeah,
crazy cool character, and I am insanely intrigued to see their take on it. And then also check out their movies because I am super interested off the way that you described them, especially Spring. Um, that's
yeah,
fucking awesome. Do you know if it's on
yeah.
any streaming?
Spring, I had to. No, yeah. Oh, Spring is on Hulu. It's on
Oh,
Hulu right now. Yeah, totally check it. It's like
fire!
an hour 40 minutes. It's
Perfect.
amazing.
Awesome.
I didn't even mention there's an amazing relationship between the main character and like an old man in this that like lasts for a couple scenes and it's fucking awesome.
Fucking Oz.
If you're gonna watch Spring for anything, watch it for literally that relationship. It's so wholesome.
Nice.
Um,
That's fucking
yeah,
awesome.
those are my top three, man.
Sounds good. Yeah, so for my number one, I had to go with the romantic thriller. So if you've heard, I've talked about it past. This is literally a made up genre that I made up. But it's probably my favorite genre of movie, honestly. It's movies that are dealing with a love story in romance in some sort of way, but it has a real deep tension rooted throughout it, whether it's tension for the love or tension through some sort of other plot beats that happen in the story, but some real tension throughout the movie while also being a love story, I think is just a really interesting and engaging way to go about it. The movie that's probably my favorite version of it, Portrait of a Lady on Fire. I talked about that on my top 10 movies of last year. Some other really great versions that I think fall into this category is Call Me By Your Name, as well as In the Mood for Love, which we talked about earlier with our love for Wong Kar-wai.
Mm,
I think all of those movies classify as this, and this was fucking hard to pick. There are so many great things, but I picked this, and I'll admit I'm cheating. I'm sorry, I'm cheating, but it's my list. I don't care. I had to go with the Before trilogy. I had to go with the Before trilogy. Oh my god. So I watched this trilogy for the first time this past weekend, and
that's fucking awesome
it
that you watched them.
fucking blew me away in every single way. Every single movie is so unique. The first movie, if I was picking just one for the categories, Before Sunrise totally falls under the fairy tale type love story. Oh my god. Before Sunrise is such a beautiful movie and definitely the most pleasant to watch in the whole series. There's not really a whole lot of romantic
Yeah, for sure.
thriller type tension throughout it. It's really just all focusing on building up who these characters are and then watching their love blossom throughout this one night. And it is really just a transcendent movie that really puts you in the place where they are. And it has some of my favorite monologues throughout the whole series, I think, for me. And so many character beats that are just way too fucking relatable. And Before Sunrise is probably my favorite of the trilogy, honestly. But we're the tension sort of lies in that movie, and then starts to really bubble up through these next two movies, which is why I really wanted to select it for this spot for the romantic thriller. Is it starts out in Before Sunset, which is, I had no idea how they were gonna do a fucking sequel to Before Sunrise. I understood what the first movie was gonna be like. I had heard about the series a lot. I understood what the last movie was probably gonna be like and about, but I had no idea going into the second movie. And it's the shortest one of them all. I think it's only 80 minutes. It's a tight
Yeah, just pretty
watch,
short.
but oh my god, is
It,
intense. It takes that intensity of the first night of like, oh yeah, they've got to leave by morning for the airport, to like, this guy's leaving in like 30 fucking minutes. Like,
yeah.
this guy's leaving in 30 minutes. They haven't seen each other in 10 fucking years. What's gonna happen? And oh my god, it is so tightly written and such a tough movie. I think out of all the I knows, quote, I knows in movie history, you see Han Solo's I know in the Star Wars franchise, which is iconic and incredible. The I know said by Ethan Hawke as the final line of this movie is the fucking best. There is so much incredible tension built up throughout this movie and so many great scenes that makes it the perfect sequel to the first movie, and then it ends on the loveliest, just most happiest note. Like, you're so happy it ends on the note that it does, and it is incredible going into Before Midnight, which, fuck this movie, dude. This movie is so incredible. Just so, not fuck this movie in the sense of it's bad. Fuck this
No,
movie for
I know
what
what
this
you
movie
mean.
did to me. Like, oh my god.
Yeah.
There's something that's really interesting about Before
I was in
Midnight
the
that I
fetal
found.
position when I finished Before
Yeah,
Midnight.
fucking this movie, I don't think this gets talked about enough, and I think it honestly has some of the best humor out of the whole trilogy. There is a great humor
Hmm.
in Before
Yeah.
Midnight, and I had some of the
Okay.
hardest laughs during it, and it is absolutely needed to prepare you for what happens in the second
Yeah.
half of that movie. And it will just break you down. It's just a constant argument. They're just constantly beating you down, and you fully understand each of these characters and their viewpoints and why they're saying what they're saying, which makes it even harder to watch. And I think that's another thing that's just so perfect about these movies. There's the wide range of like styles it goes through for each of them,
Mm.
but the two main characters still feel so realistic and just so grounded. It really just makes these movies unlike anything, you
Mm.
know? Like, the characters, it gives you the full amount of time, literally the full amount of time of the movie's runtime to explore who these people are and why they do what they do. And then you get to see them come together. And they are just fleshed out to the point of perfection. Every single minute in the entire trilogy is perfect in the way that it constantly builds on each other in genre, style, themes, story beats. Like, it's 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 a top three trilogy of all time. I'm gonna say it. Holy shit.
It's definitely considered a perfect trilogy.
Yeah, it
Um.
it
Yeah.
absolutely is in my eyes, and I had to cheat and put it here. When I first watched it, I watched Before Sunrise, and then I watched Before Sunset and Before Midnight the next day. And so after Before Sunrise, which I said is probably my favorite of the trilogy, I loved it, and I was debating like, oh, I have no idea how those next two are gonna live up to this, because this is definitely my number one fairy tale pick for right now, and I'm loving this movie so much, and I'm gonna put fairy tale as my top genre as well. But the way that the other movies build on top of that first movie, and elevate it to just completely different levels, yeah, it's the best romantic thriller of all time. Uh, up there at least with those other ones I mentioned, honorable mentions. And for the sake of this list,
I would say The Spy Who
it's
Loved
up
Me is the
there.
best romantic thriller, but
I
that's a debatable topic. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Oh God.
I've
Oh, that
never
was
even heard of
cringy.
romantic thriller, but I love that. That's my new favorite genre.
Dude,
So I'm
I
like trying to find movies that match with that right
yeah,
now.
it's so fun
Like
to think about it, I think. It's I first like thought about that genre honestly when I watched Portrait of a Lady on Fire for the first time, because like I said, I think that is the peak of this specific subgenre. And then through that I started to look back at all the other movies that I love and how they can potentially fit into this category, and it's such
mhm,
a interesting, unique take on the love story that I think just is unique and incredible, and I love it so much, and that's why it's probably my favorite genre of all time, and why the Before trilogy is near the peak of this genre. Please check out the
good
Before
shit.
trilogy. Crazy fucking
Absolutely.
movies. I'm so
Can I
glad
shout out a
I watched
couple
them.
more?
Yes, yes, some honorable mentions. Throw them out, baby.
Um,
I got all mine out.
in spirit of the name of the podcast, I want to throw out some fucking gay
Nice.
movies that are really good.
Yes, yes.
Um, we didn't. I don't think we mentioned Brokeback at all,
Mm-hmm.
but
Mm-hmm.
Brokeback Mountain is incredible movie.
Of course.
One of my favorite performances from Heath Ledger.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I also want to mention a little teen drama that came out a couple years ago called Love, Simon.
Oh
Um,
yes, I've been
th-
meaning to check
this
it
is
out.
was an incredible surprise for me. This looked like your typical like I don't know, like teen adult drama, whatever shit, and it really is when it comes down to it. But I don't know, it's pretty incredible the
Yeah.
way it comes together by the end of it, and
Nice.
the characters are incredible. I think that's about it. Just want to
Yeah.
mention those two. I watched them. I watched them recently, so I was like,
Yeah,
they're in
yeah,
my
of
mind.
course. Yeah, I was for the third genre, like I said, I was kind of having a hard time picking some honorable mentions for the fairy tale genre.
Hmm.
And I was thinking about going with queer romance movies for that spot instead. I didn't end up, of course, but there's a lot of great ones out there, absolutely. Most all of Celine Sciamma's movies are queer love stories. You've got And Then We Danced, one of my favorite movies of last year, which falls into that. Call Me by Your Name, which is like uh very interesting one in the genre, and like there's fucking Midnight Cowboy does not get discussed enough as an absolute queer love story, and it is incredible and just
The
tragic story.
it doesn't get talked about enough.
Just
Queer
period.
love stories are one of the most common like stories in film of like all time. Like queer themes are so fucking common,
Hmm.
does not get talked about enough. Like it's
Absolutely.
insane. Like you can scroll through your Criterion and a lot of that shit is gay as fuck. Okay, I
Yeah.
swear to
Yeah.
God. Like there's an issue with like LGBT that we're not talking about enough because that shit is represented all the time
Hmm.
and it's not talked about enough.
Yeah, it needs to be
Like
highlighted more. Absolutely. Because yeah, it's one of the best.
some of
It's
the
one of the
best shit
best
I've seen is
genres.
from queer filmmakers. So hands down, some
Absolutely.
of the best shit.
100%. 100%. We need more queer filmmakers, and we need more queer films shouted out in the mainstream because they're incredible and
100%.
they are there. They're out there.
They
They just
really
need to
are.
get the love
Look
that
for
they
them.
deserve.
You'll find them.
Yeah.
And
Anyway,
you'll get your call me by your names, but there'll also be your late portrait of a lady on fires as well, and those are
mhm,
missed a lot. So
yeah.
check those out.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Anyway, that's going to wrap up our topic discussion of the week, our top 3 romance movies. We'll run back down them one more time. Nick, you want to run through your list real quick?
Yeah, definitely. I put Jason Reitman's Up in the Air. Um, I put that was my number three. Also put Phantom Thread PTA. This is the last movie that he's done. I don't know what he's doing next, but I'm excited. And then for my number one, I put Spring. This is a Justin Moorhead. No, Aaron Moorhead, Justin Benson movie. These guys are incredible filmmakers. Um, and Spring is an incredible romantic horror. So
Fucking
yeah,
right
those
on.
are my top three.
Right on. And mine, obviously, I had my third favorite, my fairy tale love story, Umbrellas of Cherbourg. Number two, my favorite rom com of all time, Harold and Maude. And then my number one, I obviously cheated with my favorite romantic thriller right now, which is the Before trilogy. Check out all those movies that we shouted out in the topic and in the notable watches section. Form your own opinions about them. We're going to take our little intermission break as always, and we'll be back to give our in depth thoughts on the 2004, I think it's 2004, movie The Notebook.
2003.
Fuck. Stay tuned.
What was I right?
I don't know. We'll see. Stay tuned. I'll
I
check
feel
it after.
I feel like I'm a.
Hey guys, what's up? Intermission time. Trying to do these, of course. Been trying to record new intermissions recently. Thanks so much for listening to the episode. Yeah, as I talked about a lot earlier, this was a really fun episode to watch. I always love watching and talking about romance movies, and obviously, also like I said earlier, it was a little bit of shitty 2 weeks. Honestly, I'm not gonna get into it, but wasn't the best time. Didn't watch too much, but having this time to kind of discuss some movies that I love so much with Nick always just means so much to me alongside everyone who listened to this. It really makes me happy that people actually enjoy listening to this podcast because I really, really do love doing it. So thank you so much for listening. As always, stay until the end if you want to hear our topic for next episode, which will be out in 2 weeks. We'll reveal the topic and the topic of the discussion and the movie review. And so if you want to participate in that, as always, stay until the end to see what we're talking about. And thanks for listening, guys. Alrighty then, we're back. That's one of the better intros I think we've done. We're back. Okay, we're gonna fucking talk about The Notebook. Of course, this is the 2004 movie. Ryan Gosling, fucking Rachel McAdams. It's the fucking, what's his name? Noah Sparks? Is that the guy who writes the books that this shit's based off of? Nicholas Sparks. Nicholas Sparks. Famous, writer.
Who Nicholas Sparks novel, yeah.
It's the 2004 movie. This is the IMDb synopsis, as always. A poor yet passionate young man falls in love with a rich young woman, giving her a sense of freedom, but they are soon separated because of their social differences. Ooh, okay. This is really like the breakout Ryan Gosling role that really put him into the heartthrob role that made people never take him seriously until last year, when he deserves his fucking respect. Maybe not for this movie.
What are you talking about? What are you talking
about? What do you mean? I feel like people still nowadays even disrespect Ryan Gosling as being a really bad actor. I know.
I thought after. Oh, okay. Ryan Gosling has a type that he usually plays.
Yeah.
People can either hate that type or not.
Yeah, I know
So
at least 4 or 5 different people in my life who are whenever I've brought up Ryan Gosling, they're like, the Notebook guy? What?
Oh, really?
Yeah. And
I think movie nerds and movie culture loves Ryan Gosling.
I mean, for sure. But
because ever since Drive, most people put him above and beyond, maybe further than he should have been at the time. But
yeah,
he's over the years, Ryan Gosling has proven himself to be
he absolutely
a really
has
good actor
and
multi-talented.
Yeah. Blade Runner 2049, Lars and the Real Girl. Oh my god. Fucking The Nice Guys, dude.
I love The Nice Guys. That's one of my favorite.
Yeah.
He's a fucking funny in that movie.
Yeah,
he is. That's one
hilarious.
of his funniest roles.
Obviously, La La Land.
Of course, La La Land.
Yeah. Fucking, he's incredible. I love Ryan Gosling so much. But
Ryan Gosling. I just want to quickly point out.
Okay.
Had a similar career trajectory as Justin Timberlake.
Interesting. Okay.
he was on the Mickey Mouse Clubhouse show with Justin Timberlake.
Yeah.
Ryan Gosling almost was an NSYNC. Did you know that?
Really?
He was asked to be an NSYNC and he turned it down. They were like big friends. Ryan
Wow.
Gosling almost was an NSYNC and maybe
Wow.
would have had like a career in music. I'm glad he chose his career in acting because
Yeah.
he's incredible.
He's one of the better
Actually,
actors alive.
I
I
actually think
honestly think.
Justin Timberlake's a pretty decent actor too.
Yeah.
Um,
Little
but
tangent. Have you heard of Justin Timberlake's
so,
new movie that he's got coming out? Um,
yes, I've seen the trailer to it and it looks like shit. Um,
it's a total Oscar baity movie that
he's playing like a poor person. It doesn't make any sense to me. I okay. I love Justin Timberlake. I think he's one of the greatest pop artists of all time.
yes.
Um, I love Justin Timberlake. Seriously, I seriously love Justin Timberlake. But that movie looks like fucking shit, and and him playing like a poor like person that gets out of prison like down bad on a slug makes no fucking sense. Okay, like I'm just saying that.
I'm excited. All I'm saying is I'm excited for JT to get his Oscar and prove you wrong. So.
You should have got it for Social Network, but yeah.
Ooh,
Me
yeah.
too. Sure, we're excited for that. I
Yeah,
guess.
absolutely. Fuck.
Bring
Anyway.
back the bleach tips, and maybe I'll like it. Okay.
Yeah, man. Fuck. Anyway, we're here to talk about the goddamn Notebook.
Yeah, we are, aren't we?
Let's just go into our overall kind of general thoughts, and we'll go into, obviously like we usually do. What are your general thoughts about this movie? General feel of it?
Immediately, everybody in this movie is gorgeous.
Yes. Oh my.
Everybody in this
God.
movie is with conflict, but like somehow incredibly perfect.
Mm-hmm.
The story is cute and sweet, makes you tear up at the end. Ending goes on for a little bit longer than it should have. My biggest gripe with the movie is that everything just seems to work out so well for these two people, even with some pretty heavy conflict.
Okay.
But
Hold
like,
on.
yeah.
What? Hold on. Not. How does everything work out? What do you mean? What?
What do you not mean?
She fucking gets dementia and forgets everything about it. That's obvious.
But before that, for the last, they had like the perfect relationship where like nothing could go wrong between them.
I mean, okay, so they totally they portray it as like the true love that's like unbreakable, but their relationship is horribly toxic. They do not have a good relationship in any way. And that was one of the big detractors.
What do you mean by that?
They literally physically abused each other. They literally she literally physically abused him. I'm sure he did as well. And then he also was a horrible person. Dude.
Wait.
No way he didn't hit her. No way he didn't hit her.
You're implying that?
Absolutely.
You think the movie was implying that?
Absolutely. I have no doubt in my mind that his character also abused her. Because he was also in a fucking master manipulator. Like I hated his character. That was mainly like one of the big detractors from this movie for me. Is Ryan Gosling, his character and performance, like his character is just horrible. Like old Ryan Gosling fucking telling the story, super like heartwarming and also fucking sad.
It's a very weird difference between the two because they're
like
much different.
He is
people.
He is actually seems like a very nice person, but every single scene of him before then, he's a horribly manipulative, just bastard.
Can you maybe I missed how he was manipulative?
Well, the way that he forces her to like ask him out the like hanging on the Ferris wheel thing, that's not cute. I don't think that's cute.
No, it's not cute. But
I thought that was super fucked up and like traumatizing in a way. and like he always like just the way that he would talk to her, like oh the whole like massively like intensely I just need to do this, like I need to talk to you, like the way that he went about it was seemed so like stalkerish, and also like like I said manipulative, just in the way that he would like talk about her and then like make her feel about certain things in the relationship, I guess.
I I can see that, but like also I kind of understood that she was like maybe kind of playing hard to get because there were moments where she was definitely interested and wanted him to like she was kept leading him on. But like I don't know, I found those parts like excusable because of that. But I could see where
I
you
definitely,
see his
yeah,
character like super invasive in some areas
yeah,
before they're even like a couple. Yeah, I can totally see that. And the
yeah,
Ferris wheel shit is like not even funny to joke about.
yeah. Super fucked
Yeah,
up.
okay,
I
okay,
I
I get you, I
like
get you.
I honestly didn't make a whole lot of notes when throughout this movie like usual, because
Yeah.
I had a great time watching this movie. I watched this movie with a few of my friends and I had a great time watching this movie, and I was fully like invested and into it the whole time. But really like, and
Yeah, same.
I have definite strong issues throughout a number of other aspects of the movie that I'll get into later. But the main reason that made this like borderline just not good at all is everything to do with Ryan Gosling's character and also his performance. Like, far and away the worst performance I've ever seen out of Ryan Gosling, and like one of my least favorite film performances, honest to God. Like, I thought
Hmm.
his character was not only just really like creepy and kind of cringy and uncomfortable, but I thought he like I guess if they wanted that, he played that perfectly, but I don't like that, and I don't think they were going for that. So like yikes, I guess. I don't know. I just hated everything about that, basically. How are
Hmm.
your kind of feelings towards his character and his
Um,
performance, I guess?
I, I thought he was fine. Honestly, he was not like exceptional. He wasn't terrible in my opinion. And for his character goes, I thought his arc was super mediocre. Um, I thought he was honestly laid out to be a pretty genuine dude for the most part. I loved his performance and his relationship with his father in this movie. As perfect as it was, like too perfect, it was still sweet, and he seemed like a really good guy up until his father's death. And even before that, he just seemed like a guy that was in his feelings a lot, and would sleep with different women or um, I don't know, like I don't know. I thought he was fine. I didn't find him creepy at all. In fact, I found him to be pretty decent on the relationship side, especially with like the whole love triangle thing that could have happened in this movie. I thought
Mm-hmm.
he handled it like extremely well,
I agree with that.
and
I agree
like
with that sentiment.
even at the start he didn't. He at the end he like closed it up, and I thought it was like a decent ending to that character story. And I don't know. I I'm trying to find where you're talking about like he's creepy because I didn't really get that too much. I found him to be
I
like a little bit too like nice guy though, if you know what I
I
mean.
I, I wish I took
Like he's not a
more
realistic
I wish
person
I
at
took more
all.
notes on like specific scenes so I could really recall those. But
Sure.
basically, I mean, how I felt about it was really like every single scene with him. Honestly, though, like
Really.
I just thought he was a really creepy, kind of cringy, and just like not a
Hmm.
good guy. You
Hmm.
know,
What do you mean cringy?
just in the way that he talked to her and like
Hmm.
about the idea of like his obsessiveness with her, I thought was just like, oh,
That's super
that's
like.
really uncomfortable. Like the whole relationship and like him as a character and everything. Like I mean, I don't know much about the 1940s, which is when this movie takes place, but from the limited knowledge that I have, I guess it did seem kind of realistic to the
Exactly.
times, you know? But that's not necessarily a good thing. Like I kind of talked about this on the Christmas episode with August. Um it's an older movie, Miracle on 34th Street, and there's a character in it who does some kind of weird, a little bit of weird thing sometimes, and it's like that's how men of the times acted, which I don't really like find as an excuse, you know, because I don't find that like enjoyable, and I kind of felt that
Mm.
through a lot of the things that he did and said in this movie, in The Notebook, you know.
So I kind of feel, yeah, I feel like they were trying to portray him as not someone like that.
Mm.
Like maybe I took it differently than you. Obviously, I did. Also, what do you think? Can we? Obviously, we find differences about Ryan Gosling's character. What do we think about Rachel McAdams?
Love, 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 love. One of the main reasons why I had a great time watching this movie is her character, kind of her performance mainly. I just loved her, and she was so fun to watch on screen. And she was definitely like did some kind of fucked shit in the movie. Um, but I thought she played the character with like complexity, and I thought she was far more interesting and just super beautiful as well. I love Rachel McAdams in this movie.
Yeah, I like the cheater as well. Um, so let
I
me.
don't
No,
like that part. I don't like that part. I don't.
Um, I found the way the movie handled her character was a little bit immature and a little bit like fairy tale-ish,
I thought
especially
the
at the
same with
ending.
Ryan Gosling's character though.
Um, especially at the ending of the 40 segment.
Uh huh.
Um, I didn't like the way the plot was like, yeah, she has dementia, so now you gotta feel sorry for her. Because I really didn't. Um, she like I don't know. I even found like the relationship conflicts with her parents not the best, and like I mean maybe I can't relate to it, and maybe that's why, but like I just felt super forced. I hate using that word when it comes to things like this, but that's the best way I could put it.
Hmm.
Um, Also, I don't know. I didn't like the way that she didn't really get. Maybe the movie punished her with dementia for cheating, but I don't want to
Fuck.
imply that.
No,
So
dude.
I'm a
So
little bit upset she
this
didn't get
is
like some dues for that.
so those. I totally basically agree with everything that you said, and the way why I feel it's more excusable for her character when she kind of does that fucked shit rather than Ryan Gosling's
Yeah,
character was because she's so clearly like a 16, 17 year old, and like she plays that part so clearly, I think, and like
sure.
is very, I think she really does a good job of portraying being super immature in just so many different ways, and like all the fucked shit and like ways that she deals with certain aspects of the relationship like
How
feel realistic to her and her
mm,
character, you know.
when they
That's
see each other again, how old was she? Because she was like 17 when they first met. When they leave, they're 17. How old was she when they
Let's
met
see.
again?
So they he wrote her for a year. He wrote her for a year, um, and then he stopped writing for her. And
Yeah,
then
that's right.
let's see, probably the time of her and Lon falling in love and like getting married, I'd assume like 3 years max, you know?
Okay, so she's probably
So
around
maximum she's like
20, 21,
19. No, I was gonna say maximum she's probably like 19,
19.
20.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you're probably right about that. Okay.
19, 20. And I'm pretty sure Ryan Gosling's character is supposed to be like 20 at the beginning. Like, I don't think he's supposed to be in high school. I'm like
Yeah, he comes like
99% sure about that.
20,
Like,
19 years old.
he's supposed to be definitely older than her, especially prominent. You can in the IMDb plot synopsis, the poor yet passionate young man, and then the rich young woman, just emphasizing on the young woman. But I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. He's definitely
Um,
he's not supposed to be like 25 or something like that, but I think he's like probably like 19, 20, and she's like 16, 17 or some shit.
yeah, that would make sense. I kind of assumed that.
Hmm.
Um, okay. So,
So yeah, whenever
huh,
she's doing like
it,
really emotionally like in like complicated fuck shit in the relationship, like I understand it because of like her age and immaturity level and all the shit that she dealt with from um fucking Ryan Gosling's character Noah, like all
mhm.
of the like creepy and manipulative, really manipulative and like fucked ways that he dealt with different aspects of the relationship. It
After they met
it
again,
made me
what was
realize like
manipulative about the relationship?
after they met again,
Like when,
not much,
yeah,
not much, not much. I
okay, well, so I feel like there wasn't that much then, if there was any.
I mean that was
I
a
I I, I feel like
that's like the whole
maybe I don't
basis
know,
of their love though, and like there's no conflict of that. They excuse it
but she
because they
finds him
just
in the
instead
first
of
scene. She's like not creeped out about him because she tells her friend she finds him cute. So it's like she was trying to play hard to get low key. Like,
I
and
mean,
I think he realized that, and that's why he felt comfortable with like, pushing a little bit. I don't know. That's how I feel in like normal relationships. It was a little bit like perfect in this movie to the point where like he could do anything, and she would be like, "Oh my god, you're so hot," and like I don't know. So I could understand it to that point, but like I don't know, manipulative. I just didn't see that. Other
yeah.
than maybe like him like threatening a suicide in the very beginning.
Yeah.
That was weird.
I don't know.
Definitely.
Is this your r slash nice guy showing? I don't know. Is the
Maybe, but like,
I genuinely
but
don't
like,
know. I don't know, but I definitely felt like the
he
creepy vibe.
definitely played the nice guy in the movie, but like I felt like his character was harmless is what I'm trying to say.
That's fair.
Like
That's fair.
I feel like the labels of manipulative and like you can call him cringy because his character was super cringy, definitely, but like
Hmm.
I feel like he was harmless in the movie ultimately, and I didn't see him physically or mentally fucking with Rachel McAdams. In fact, I saw it the other way around. And maybe this is the fucking uh uh nice guy in me.
Uh
I'm
huh.
not trying to be like weird about it, but like
No.
I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
I feel like the relationship was kind of fucked up towards him,
Hmm.
especially
I thought it was
in
really
some
fucked up on like
moments.
both sides. I thought it was just like in Twilight, Bella and Edward's relationship, like they're both super toxic to each other, and it's just not good. And I kind of
Mm.
felt that in a lot of the ways in this relationship as well. Like they were just not good for each other in like any way. Like I'm so surprised that they ended up staying together until old age.
Yeah, no, they
I
were
am so
definitely.
surprised.
If you know the honeymoon phase of a relationship, it
Hmm.
literally felt like that all the time for them, which is like so unrealistic,
Yeah.
and like the fights felt so fucking like fake in
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
movie,
I
like for the
agree.
most part, like even with like real conflict of her like cheating and shit, she's like conflicted about whether she wants to still marry this guy
Hmm.
when she's like clearly like madly in love with Ryan Gosling
Yeah.
and
No,
like
I agree.
even
That was
said
dumb.
that
Yeah.
like I don't know, and then she's I don't know, I don't know. I find her character a little weird.
Hmm.
As
Yeah,
adorable as she is
I
in the
don't
movie.
like either of the characters, but I just thought the way that Rachel McAdams portrayed it, I thought it felt whenever she did kind of fuck shit, I thought it
Hmm.
felt more natural and almost understandable.
What do
Uh,
you think about the relationship between Gosling and his father? It
Great.
was very
Yeah,
short lived, but what do you think?
I really liked that. That was one of the aspects. Also, like her parents, even though they were like exaggerated rich douches, like I really liked all three of the parents in this movie and thought they were
I
just
wish they
really well
fleshed
portrayed.
out her father a little bit more, like
I
with the
agree,
mother.
but he had a great
Um,
mustache. Oh my god,
oh, he's got a fantastic fucking
top
facial hair.
tier
Yeah,
movie mustache, absolutely, and that
definitely.
solved any and all character development and like depth that he didn't
Okay,
have. So
you get the pass. You get the
exactly,
pass, sir.
exactly.
Sir, right this way.
Yeah,
Um,
that's how it is in this movie. Absolutely.
that's
But
funny.
I really like their relationships in general.
I actually thought it was pretty good too. I did think like some of the shit was like not interesting though, because I was like, you're a rich fucking person. Like,
Oh yeah,
I'm sure this is not gonna be like the worst thing in your life. You also you did cheat on people. Like, chill the fuck out.
yeah.
What do you think of James Marsden in this movie?
I laughed so hard when James Marsden came up in this movie. I was like, no way. Because I knew James
That's so
Marsden, but
bad.
I didn't remember where he like blew up from. I didn't realize that he kind of came up from this movie, kind of like
He
Ryan
totally did.
Gosling.
Yeah.
And that kind of blew
He
me
would go
away
on
in the
to play
moment.
Cyclops, but yeah,
Yeah.
this is like his
Um,
breakout, I would say.
but super funny. But he's an alright character. His introduction is hilarious. It's so fucking funny. His introduction when she's like
Yeah.
treating him, I loved that. I thought he was a pretty good character. Like John Marsden as like
Okay.
or James
He
Marsden,
is like
like he's serviceable.
he's super serviceable. I feel like his character is too nice and way too unrealistic.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
I mean, this
but
whole
you
movie is
know
just
what?
completely contrived and like
I was gonna say, by that
designed in
point
a
in the
lab.
movie where he made an incredibly weird, unrealistic decision, I was like, whatever. Of course, I was gonna go this way anyways. I don't care.
Hmm.
Um, I think he's charming, and I was just wondering why he wasn't casted as a Superman. Um,
Yeah, yeah,
and he would go on to do Sonic the Hedgehog
yeah. The
and that
legendary
Rabbit movie.
performance in Sonic the Hedgehog.
Whatever.
Yeah, he's in
What,
he's he's in Sonic the Hedgehog and fucking Peter Rabbit.
no, it's not Peter Rabbit. It's
Is it
called
not
Hop.
Peter? Oh wait. Oh, it's even worse. Oh
Yeah,
my god. The
you know,
horrible
I don't
CGI
blame you for.
animal movies with real people.
I feel
Holy
so bad
shit.
for this guy. Oh, he wasn't.
He's
You
a
know
fine
what?
actor.
One of
Like
one of my favorite roles. Yeah, he is. He
he's
just doesn't
fine.
get casted in
He's
very good
attractive.
things. Um, I like him in Enchanted.
Never seen
Um,
it.
I think you've never seen Enchanted? No, you have. You
Guilty.
have. You totally
Guilty.
have. When you were a kid?
No.
Really?
No. Guilty
Okay,
as charged.
it's probably on Disney.
Yeah, I'm sure it
You
is.
may not you may not like it now, but as a kid, I thought it was really good. I thought he
I'm
was
sure I
funny.
would enjoy it.
That's yeah. He's also
Yeah,
like a cool Cyclops.
for sure. For
Um,
sure. Yeah.
yeah.
Something I wanted to point out that was also really bad about this movie is its overall set design and just like world building. Like if this movie didn't tell me it was in 1940, I would have never guessed probably. Like
Yeah, I can
it
understand
it,
that.
it just the
There-
set
I-
design is so fucking lazy and boring, and the visual style of this movie, like the way it captures the era, is so ineffective. And like the only other way they try to is like they use film, like they shoot a lot of it on film, which is like Okay,
Yeah,
cool. I like seeing film. Yeah,
that doesn't have. No,
that's
no,
all
it
that's
doesn't
all
have.
I can
It
say
looks the
about.
same as digital. It
Like
literally
it
looks the
does
same.
not look like good. It's like everyone's like,
Oh,
oh, I forgot this is shot on film. Okay.
yeah, I completely understand what you're saying with the set design. I kind of feel the opposite. It was actually something I totally thought about during the movie.
Mm.
Uh, the wardrobe is like super
The
casual,
wardrobe is
and
not
it's not
bad.
like, but like I'm
Costume
talking
design.
about like everything is not like what you're saying. Like, yeah, it's not exclusively in the 40s, and I like kind of dig that the movie's not focused on that um, more than it could have been, I guess. But it's definitely a preference choice because people either want to see representation of that era, or some people just could care less. So
Hmm. For
it's a
sure.
two-way street.
Yeah.
So I could totally see what you're saying.
Yeah. So much of this movie I just thought was just so visually, just so
Visually, it just
fucking
was
boring.
bland. The
So
best
boring.
looking scene was definitely the rowing boat scene.
Absolutely. That
Um,
was a good scene.
but like
Yeah.
everything else, I completely agree. Was like there was just not much thought put
Hmm.
into every
Dude,
shot.
do
It just
you
felt like it was,
remember
you know.
how do you feel about those fucking CGI birds?
Oh yeah, that was
Dude,
very obvious.
those CGI birds,
When she was running towards them.
oh my god. It
Yeah,
actually
that was
looked
not
like
good.
fucking Birdemic. Like it actually looked like Birdemic. I swear to god they used the same birds.
Yeah, they used the same asset.
Yeah.
Um,
Like, oh, dude, it was so
yeah, that was pretty
distracting and
atrocious.
so bad. They used it at the beginning too, with the birds like swooping through the river and up into the like retirement home place. It's like the opening kind of
Oh
shot of
yeah,
the
yeah.
movie, and it's
Can we?
horrible.
Yeah, no, it's it felt so out of
Hmm.
place. Um,
The
do you want to talk about the ending, like the last 15 minutes of this movie? What were your
Yeah,
thoughts about
sure.
that?
So I it sounded like you didn't like it, and I gotta be honest, this is another
No,
one
no,
of
no.
the.
I
Okay, okay,
liked it.
okay, okay.
I just felt like it went maybe 10 minutes longer
That's
than it
fair.
could have.
I don't think that I don't think they needed to die in each other's arms. That was just like, come on, dude. What the fuck? Like, that's so fucked up. Why'd you have to add that? Like, but the whole scene of her recognizing him for the few minutes and then her forgetting him and that whole sequence, I was in complete waterworks. I
Yeah,
watched it with like
yeah,
five friends, and every single one of us were just fucking bawling.
yeah.
And yeah, it's effective. Okay. And that was worth
Definitely.
it for me to like really enjoy just the overall structure of the story. Like how the story is constructed, like I think is a fine and interesting story, and also just like really emotionally like resonant and rich. I think specifically through the ways that it goes back and forth through the time and like why he's telling her it and shit like that. Like I think that's played really well and really really effective because like I said,
Yeah.
the ending of this movie just fucking broke me. But you know this is
No, definitely. Um, wait, what were you saying? Like you didn't care for them to be dying this at the
like
end, or was that just
I
like
don't think they
heartbreaking for
needed to
you?
die in each other's arms, you know?
Okay,
Like I
okay.
like I was already like sad enough and finished. Like I felt like adding them dying in each other's arms, like okay, what? I don't know.
Okay, that was like one scene where I was like, "Oh, they're gonna die together, are we?" And then I still cried, so I was like
I
conflicted
cried
about
too.
that.
That's the fucked up thing. That's the fucked up thing. Is I still cried, which is super fucked up because I think it's dumb that they added it. But I was
Like
still
I
like,
was
that's such a
literally
fucking
like
sad thing.
I was literally in tears, and I was like, oh, I could have restructured the scene better, but like I was still like,
It's designed to
oh
make you cry, and it fucking
yeah,
does it. This whole
yeah,
movie is
no,
designed to make you cry at the end, and it does it
no, it
way
literally
too
is. That's literally
effectively.
the punchline of the movie.
Yeah.
The
The
punchline. So
punchline.
yeah,
Yeah. Dude, it totally is the fucking punchline. That's a great way to fucking.
At the very end, you see them like lay there, and you just hear, but
You hear the fucking Seinfeld thing. Oh.
That's all, folks.
Oh my god, that would be the perfect way to end this
They get up, they like are like dead, and they like open their eyes, they're like, "Welcome to Saturday Night Live."
I'm sure you can find
It's like
that
a
as a
whole
fucking
sketch.
Saturday Night Live fucking
That's
cold
totally
open.
a sketch.
Absolutely, it 100% is. I have no doubt.
I just hire me SNL, okay? Please,
Yeah.
Warren, I'm
Yeah,
right here.
Lauren Michael, please, for real. But fucking back to the Notebook. I love.
Oh
yeah,
yeah, I forgot.
I forgot. We're talking about the Notebook. I forgot. Yeah.
What about it? What about it?
Ending so great, and I want to go back to what I was saying earlier. Like, there is so much issues, so many issues with the movie, and like, it's not a great script. Like, I think it's a good story, but it's not a good script. It's just really poorly written. But holy fuck, is this a good time? Like, this movie was so fun to watch. And
the movie's a breeze too.
Yeah, it did not feel like 2 hours. It's 2 hours and 30 minutes, and it does not feel that way. It feels like more like an hour 45, honestly. And like
the last 20 minutes go by pretty fast. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah,
it's like let's wrap it up, guys. Yeah. Let's do it.
Yeah. And there's just so many. I think I'm like pretty sure unintentionally hilarious moments in this movie.
There's a lot of funny moments.
There's definitely some funny moments that are like meant to be funny, but there's a lot of funny moments of like cringy, dumb stuff happening that like are just so funny. Or, like really poorly written scenes. Like they'll deliver like a certain line, and I just couldn't help but like laugh out loud. There's just like a lot of dumb shit in this movie, you know, but it made it really fun to watch, especially with friends, just fucking trying to hold back our laughter because we know we're not supposed to laugh at this scene, but like uncontrollably though. Like it is a really good time, this movie. I'm so glad I finally got around to watching it, you know.
Yeah, this is my first time ever seeing it as well. I just never really had an interest in checking it out, so I'm glad I was essentially forced to watch it.
Yeah, you're welcome. Yeah. I've been wanting to check this out for a long time. Just, I needed to know about it, you know? It's one of those movies I had to watch, and I'm so glad I did. Even though I wish the love story itself was better, I enjoyed this movie so much.
What's special about this movie? Why is it so, like, highly regarded?
Well,
Is it the novel that was famous, or
the novel is super famous. That's definitely why. Okay. But I feel like the movie has definitely elevated to a different level of novel, perhaps. And I feel like a lot of people do disagree with me on the love feeling not good. Like, I think a lot of people do think it's like a good and like true loving relationship, you know? I think that's a reason I assume a lot of people really do like this movie. And alongside the structure of it, you know, it's like reveals happen, you know? You learn the first time they ever show the fucking what's the house that he rebuilds? It's like a slave home or whatever. Wasn't it? I can't remember. It was what's the fucking name of that type of house? It was a plantation house. That's what it was. Plantation house. They said that. They said that a bunch of times. It was a old plantation house that he rebuilt, which is just fucking weird right there. But like the first time they see that house, I'm like, okay, that's the fucking retirement home, isn't that? And then it's like,
wait, is it?
Yeah.
I thought okay, so
Is
I
it
put
not?
that two and two together. I think it is. I
I'm
think it is
like
the retirement
99%
home.
sure it is. I'm
It
100% sure
looks
it is. I swear to
exactly
God.
like there was a scene where like it was clearly at the retirement home, but
Yeah.
it looked like the front of his house, and I was like, yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
all
They
right, yeah, yeah,
like that, and then it's like learning that the old couple is them, which is obvious. Also a thing that like the very first time you see them, it's like obviously this is gonna be them. But I think a lot of those kind of like gotcha moments that happen throughout the movie, um, I think are I'm not trying to be like the average viewer's dumber than me. I don't know. I feel like I don't, but I feel like a lot of the things were really expected. But if you're really not looking for shit like that, because I'm always trying to like find shit like that. Uh, if you're not looking for that, and then you get those revelations later on in the movie, like that's a like thing that feels good. Uh,
yeah,
like little twists
sure.
that happen that are rewarding to the average viewer. And so that's definitely an aspect that I
Wait, do
think
you
really
think the
draws
average
people to
viewer
it.
didn't think that the old couple was immediately um them?
I don't know. I think maybe they
Really?
definitely don't say their names for a while. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I know. And they try to like, and they even try to like present it as like they are like not a thing.
Yeah,
But like, I don't know. Maybe. Yeah.
I I I
I I
I I,
I
I
hope
think so.
not. I hope the average viewer figured it out. I don't know.
Yeah, and then
That feels
obviously the
like
just
pretty
like
obvious.
yeah, I agree, but I don't know. I feel like those kind of gotcha moments are a big thing, and then also just the really emotionally potent ending of the movie.
Uh-huh.
I think all of those things combined, especially for like the average viewer, and then like big fans of the novel, really just kind of eat up. And I ate it up too. I absolutely did, but
Yeah. No, I enjoyed it. It's probably nothing I would go back to anytime soon. Um,
yeah,
but
I'd watch
I'm
it
glad it's in my
I'd
catalog now.
watch it hanging out with the friends if it's just like a background thing and we're just,
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah.
hanging out or something like that. That'd be
Yeah.
fun.
No, yeah.
But that's about it though. But I did have a really good time with this movie.
I do have a question.
Mm-hmm.
Who wrote the Notebook?
Um oh, the
Not the
notebook
movie.
that he's reading?
Yeah, who wrote that?
I assumed he did.
I assume she did. So
Oh,
they
wait.
never really
Actually, no,
explained it.
I think
So
you might be right because she had that note in it of read this to me to bring
yes,
me back, which is
yes.
oh, oh, fuck. Just another fuck up.
Okay, and that actually leads into my other question. How do you think the way they handled dementia in this movie?
Not good.
Because
Horrible.
yeah,
Yeah.
okay,
The way they handled dementia in this movie is horrible. The portrayal and performance of the woman is just almost downright offensive at times and just
yeah,
like not good in any way, shape, or form. And it just they
okay,
and then so many aspects throughout it um just do not feel authentic in any type of way towards how dementia really is. And I feel
mm.
like it almost, not fully, but almost romanticized it a little bit. Just a
Ooh,
little
yeah,
bit,
I kind
which
of felt that as
is
well.
really
I was
fucked
like,
up.
that's not cool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
very strange.
That's definitely a big
Dementia's
thing that I
horrible,
really didn't like
especially if you've seen it
facing with the
firsthand, man.
movie. Yeah. I really did
It's
not
soul
like thinking
crushing.
about that during the movie when I was having a good time with a lot of other aspects. Even though that
Yeah,
did provide to like a really emotionally resonant and like impactful ending. I just wish it
yeah,
was better written and better acted. But that's
yeah.
basically all my issues with the movie is fuck, I wish it was better written and better acted. You know?
I wish there was a better story as well, but
That's fair. Yeah. I think we're about wrapping this up. You got any final thoughts you want to say before kind of attaching a score to it?
no. But you did say that you didn't think this was gonna be like a long review, but we fucking fully went into it.
Yeah, yeah.
And I'm glad we did because we had some differences that I didn't know about.
Yeah, same. It was a good discussion. I enjoyed this
For
movie and
sure.
I enjoyed talking about it.
Same. I really, this movie is um not typically unique, but I'm glad I watched it because it's a staple in like film history as being one of the most popular romantic movies out there. I don't know. I enjoyed it as much as I hated it, so yeah,
Yep. You got a rating you want to attach?
I could rate it. This is like a total like C plus movie for me.
Yeah.
So like, I don't know. What is that like a 7? I guess
I feel like
6.
that's really
Okay,
high for
I'll give
that.
it a 6. That's a
Yeah,
6 for me.
I'd give it a 2.5 out of 5 stars, which is like a 5 out of 10.
Yeah,
And how I feel about that rating is exactly how you summarized it. I love it as much as I hate it. Like
yeah,
50% of all aspects of the movie I really loved, and about 50% of all aspects of the movie I fucking hated. So
yeah.
it's definitely a good time. There's a lot of shitty parts about it, but um, it's a conflicting but fun movie to watch, and I
Yeah.
recommend it, honestly. I definitely recommend it if you haven't seen it. If you've gotten this far in the podcast, if you hadn't seen it and we just gave full spoilers, I don't know what you're doing, but
I feel like a lot of people have seen it. Can you
probably.
know what the box off? I was wondering what the box office number for this
I don't
movie
know.
was.
I can look that up
This
real
came
quick.
out 2004. You said.
Yeah, 2004.
I'm trying to think. What was the biggest movie in
The
2004?
U.S. box office was 116 million,
Jeez.
which
Okay, so it
is
was pretty big.
crazy, and the budget was 29 million. So, yeah, that's pretty
Oh,
good.
definitely. Big. What was
That's
wait? What was
pretty good.
opening? Can you get an opening night or opening weekend?
I'm pulling up Box Office Mojo right now. Its international gross was 36 million. Or sorry. Oh wait, hold on. I got the first number wrong though. The worldwide was 117 million.
Oh, okay.
But let's see. I think it debuted at 5 million on
Oh,
opening
okay.
night.
No, I meant opening weekend, but
Yeah.
it's
I don't
smaller than
know.
I thought it would be.
It's kind of hard to find it, but yeah, fucking cool movie. I'm glad it made its money back,
Yeah,
and I'm glad it
yeah,
propelled Ryan Gosling's career because he's one of the better actors we have alive right now, and I love
yeah.
him.
Also, I fucking love Rachel McAdams.
Hmm.
She's, in my opinion, super
Yeah, she's
underrated.
also super
Um,
great. Need her in more
yeah.
movies that aren't just the woman who dates a time traveler.
We need. Are you talking about that fucking in before time or whatever?
About I think it's oh fuck, what is it? About
About
Time?
time.
About Time. I love that movie.
Yeah,
But it's
I love
also
that movie
Doctor
too. Actually.
Strange and Doctor Strange, and then also
Oh my God, yeah.
the fucking
She's.
what there's
Oh
a
my
third
God, she's
one.
horrible in
There's a
Doctor
third one.
Strange. Her
It's
character's garbage.
oh yeah, horrible. There's a third one that shit I think it's called like the time I honestly think it might be called The Time Traveler's Wife or some shit like that. It's also based off
Oh
of a book.
really? Was
And
she in 2 time travel movies?
I she's in no, she plays the wife in
No.
3 time travel movies. Yeah, it's
Oh
called The
my
Time Traveler's
God.
Wife. The Time Traveler's
And then what?
Wife,
What's
About
in
Time,
time?
and Doctor
About
Strange.
time.
That's
Oh my God.
that's 3 that she's in. So she's literally being typecasted at that at this point.
My favorite role she's ever done was in Game Night, where
Dude,
she's
she's
so
amazing in
funny.
Game Night.
She's
Oh, I love
so
Game
funny
Night.
in that movie.
Game Night's so good.
That's one of my favorite
Yeah.
movies of the last 10 years.
Yeah. I need
Yeah.
to rewatch Game Night. I love that movie so much. It's incredible.
It's fantastic.
Yeah. Anyway, that's gonna wrap up all of our thoughts on The Notebook. We're gonna go on to the listener user comment section. As always, if you want to participate in this, DM us at In the Closet WJN. The people who responded this week, my buddy Grant responded to me. Shout out to Grant. He sent me his top 3 romance movies, and they are as listed: La La Land, A Star Is Born, and Silver Linings Playbook, which is a solid fucking list. I obviously Nick and I we've talked about before. We're massive La La Land fans. I think that movie is just incredible, and I really wanted to put that on my list, but just didn't.
I didn't put it on my list because it was a musical, but if like in general, it's probably one of my favorites. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And A Star Is Born, I also love A Star Is Born.
Mm-hmm.
I so this is the thing with that movie is it was playing at the Pix Theater when I was working there, and we have one screen, and so especially when we're starting out with the movie, you have to peek in a couple times towards the ending to know when the movie's ending, so you can open the doors. And so I'd see the ending. I saw the ending of A Star Is Born a few times before I actually saw the movie, and then when I watched the movie, I
like
still fucking all the big spoilers, that whole last sequence I saw. But when I watched the movie, I fucking broke down. So I love that movie. I haven't rewatched it since I watched it that one time, but it completely destroyed me in all the correct ways, and it was just such a beautiful and well-made movie. I really love A Star Is Born. And then
I remember watching that in theaters at the Pix Theater as well.
Oh, nice. Shout out Pix Theater.
I went in with huge expectations, and I came out like kind of like in the movie. But it's definitely one I want to revisit because I love the music in it a lot.
It's so good. Yeah, and the chemistry between Bradley Cooper and Lady Gaga is fucking unreal.
I think it was
so. I think and it carries a lot of the movie.
I kept thinking of Chris Kyle every time I saw Bradley Cooper on screen. So
no,
kind of fucked me up a little
bit.
That's
so fucked up. Oh, that's so. Oh fuck, dude. You think of Chris Kyle whenever you see Rocket Raccoon.
Yeah. So every time I get every time. I actually love that his voice is so unique as Rocket Raccoon.
Yeah,
I think it's so
he does
cool.
A great voice.
I would love to see him do more voice acting. I think it would be sick.
Yeah,
Bradley Cooper is. This is a tangent. Bradley Cooper is one of our most talented right now.
Dude,
like in terms of directing and in terms of actor, Bradley Cooper's excellent, and he needs to be in more stuff.
I 100% agree. I am a massive Bradley Cooper fan, and we need to see him in more stuff. Because
he was like. He was like
incredible.
Coming off as like this romantic comedy playboy, but in the last 10 years he's really made a name for himself, and I'm really excited to see where his career goes.
Absolutely, yeah. And then the last pick that Grant had was Silver Linings Playbook, which I haven't rewatched. Speaking of David O. Russell, I haven't rewatched this movie since it came out, but I was a really big fan of it when it did come out. Another Bradley Cooper performance, and he does a great job in this movie, and his chemistry with fucking Jennifer Lawrence, who's incredible, is really something. And I'm pretty sure I know a lot of people have kind of soured on this movie since it's came out. Not a whole lot, but it's not as
really?
Yeah, I don't see it as like highly regarded as it was when it was released.
I thought recently it was like had a resurgence of like
interesting.
people. Like,
I haven't seen that, but I think it's definitely worth the rewatch because I remember really loving it and really enjoying it when I did.
I enjoy it, yeah.
Absolutely.
I always get it mixed up with that Ryan Gosling Emma Stone movie.
La La Land?
I always get the other one where they're a couple and it doesn't work out.
What? Ryan Gosling and Emma Stone are a couple in a movie where it doesn't work out? Besides La La Land? Sorry. Oh fuck. La La Land spoilers. Shit. But
everyone's seen La La Land. If you haven't seen La La Land, you're a loser, and you deserve to get that spoiled for you. I don't mean that.
Dude, one of my roommates hates La La Land.
Fuck that.
Yeah, like I actually hate La La Land. So fuck you. If you listen to this, Jonah, fuck you. Sorry. I love you.
Fuck you, bitch. Crazy Stupid Love.
Oh, I've heard of that. I've never seen it. Yeah. I don't
They
know really anything
were
about it.
they were a couple in that movie, yeah,
Nice.
before La La Land in 2011.
Yeah, shout out. Anyway, yeah, we'll move on from that though. Thanks, Grant, for writing in. Good fucking list. Really enjoy and even love all of those movies. And then the next person
Good
who
shit.
DM'd is another good friend of mine, Evie. Shout out to Evie for writing in this week, and he wrote in his top 3 romance movies are The Photograph, Atlantis, and Juno. So this is
Okay.
an interesting list with
The
uh,
Photograph.
the
That
photograph.
came
That's the
out
one
last year.
last year, yeah, with Lakeith Stanfield and Issa
Yeah,
Rae. And
I need to
I'm
see that.
I'm kicking myself for not seeing this. Ever
That's
since
on
this was
HBO Max.
yeah, ever since this was announced, I was excited for this movie. I'm a
Hmm.
really big Lakeith Stanfield fan, and I also really like Issa Rae. And I was super excited for this movie. I've heard nothing but really good things about it. I just haven't got around to it. So honestly,
Same.
having it on here, it's gonna be on. I'm gonna watch it before the next episode, no doubt. I need to
Yeah.
just finally watch it because I've been really wanting to. And then next up was Atlantis. That's the animated movie, the Atlantis: The Lost Empire, I think it's called.
Yeah, this is the sequel to. Oh no, this is no, it's not the sequel. This is a separate movie, but it's done by the same people that did uh, Treasure Island, correct?
I believe so. Yeah.
Treasure Planet.
I think it's
Uh,
Treasure Planet, but yeah, I'm pretty sure it is the same people.
yeah, I haven't seen this in forever, but I
Same.
remember really digging like the um, unique product that Disney brought to the table,
Hmm.
and they haven't really done something like that
Yeah.
since.
I'm in the same boat of I haven't seen this in a long time, and I honestly don't remember much about it. And listing it as a romance movie, like I'm even more intrigued to rewatch it because
Yeah,
I
me too.
definitely don't really remember that aspect of it. But yeah, I
If
really
not for
love this
anything,
movie.
I remember the animation being
The animation, like
spectacular.
I see pictures of it all the time that pop up on the internet, and
Okay,
it's charming every single time I see it. It's so well animated and just so beautiful. It's always just had a special place in my heart, just like how many images are just kind of burned into my brain from it, you know. But I definitely need to give it a
yeah,
rewatch to refresh myself on the
it
story and such.
def- definitely a nostalgia trip.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Absolutely. And then last
good
up
pick.
was yeah, all great picks. And then Juno, oh my god. We talked
Yeah,
about Jason
that's a good
Reitman
pick.
earlier. And
Yeah,
Juno is fucking amazing. Yeah. I'm a massive
yo,
fan of Juno.
Jason Reitman needs to fucking write and direct more movies, man.
He really
Seriously,
does.
like he doesn't have that many movies.
Hmm.
His last one was Tully, which was
The fucking
Furiosa,
yeah, the fucking Charlize
uh,
Theron movie. Yeah.
Charlize Theron. Yeah, did you watch that?
No, I've heard lots of
You would
great things
like
about
that,
it
I
though.
think.
Yeah, I've
I
heard.
think you would like
Yeah.
that. You may not, because
No,
there's some things in the movie,
I'm excited for it. I
but
definitely need to watch
there's a
it.
few aspects I think you'll enjoy.
Hmm.
Highly recommend that. Highly recommend Juno. That's a great pick.
Yeah.
Um, I love that movie.
Hmm. Michael Cera is one of his best performances. You know, I think he's
Yeah,
really great in that movie. But obviously, the star of that movie is Elliot Page. They give
yeah.
like just one of the best performances in the past like 20 years. You know, it's such an incredible movie, all just riding off their back. And like J.K.
That's probably
Simmons as
one of their breakout performances, probably.
oh, absolutely, it
Um,
was.
yeah.
I no doubt. J.K.
Did you
Simmons as
ever?
one of the parents, he is
Yeah,
so funny in it. Like,
he's
Juno is just
amazing.
such a beautiful and just hilarious movie. You know, this is definitely on the list of like top 10 rom coms for me. You know, it's so close to
Sure.
being up in my list.
My favorite type of Michael Cera is in this movie.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. So yeah, shout out Evie and shout out Grant for writing in both of those lists. Really great lists. Hey guys, another another episode in a row where Nick and I forgot to discuss what we were gonna record for the next episode, so I had to record it later. We talked about it though, and so we decided we're gonna talk about David Fincher in our next episode. So we'll be ranking all of David Fincher's movies in the discussion of the week. And then for the review, we're going to be reviewing his new movie, Mank. So if you want to participate in that conversation, as always, of course, DM us and your David Fincher ranked list and your thoughts on the movie Mank at In the Closet WJN on Instagram or Twitter. And thanks for listening. Anyway, that's going to be this episode, obviously. Check out all the movies that we talked about, form your own opinion about it. And thank you so much for listening. Obviously, you can find the podcast on Anchor, YouTube, Spotify, and most other podcasters. Check out my YouTube channel that the podcast is on and many other things. You know, I talked about that docuseries earlier that I'll be having out probably on there. You can see Nick's cute-ass face on there always, anytime you want, for free, which is crazy. And then obviously check me out at Jacob Nestor 568 on Letterboxd, Twitter, or Instagram, and follow the podcast at In the Closet WJN. Nick, where can they find you? What do you want to shout out?
Nick _ all socials. Nick _ sailing all socials. Follow me on Letterboxd. All right, please. I need more people to follow me.
Please. I swear I'm funny. I swear I write good reviews. Nick will give you a kiss.
I don't write good reviews, but I just need more local people to follow because
yeah, for sure.
Not enough people have fucking Letterboxd, man.
Yeah,
so.
No, that's a fact. I preach Letterboxd that anytime someone like replies to one of my Snapchat stories about just like a movie thing I post, I'm like, hey, you should download Letterboxd. Because it's
if
a fun
anything,
fucking
it's
app.
like a great way to log like what you're watching.
It's really fun to use. Anyway, obviously check out all that shit. Thank you so much for listening. Yeah. Mwah, mwah. We love you all. And we'll see you in 2 weeks. See ya.
Peace.